Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name is Nerdy.
And I'm Claros.
And this is the Nerdy,
the Wordy,
the book club. This episode being Alloy of Law, Chapter 10 through the end of the book.
Hell yeah.
We finished it. We finished a Mistborn Era 2 book so early in 2025.
Yeah, because it's like a third of the length.
Yeah, the stare guy in chat just said, having only 2 episodes for a book makes no sense. I'm not sure we could have stretched this out anymore. I don't even know how we're going to do a full book recap of this book, to be honest.
Oh, you say that every time. We're like, you know what? It's probably not even going to be a full 3 hours today. And then it's 4.
Well, yeah, but I think we'll probably do like a Alloy of Law, like, casting to help increase the length. You know what I mean?
Today?
No, for the full book recap.
Oh, for for the,
Yeah.
Yeah, because that'll be fun.
Stare guy was making a joke.
Super easy to do.
Heard.
It's hard to convey sarcasm over scribbles on a screen.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited to do a casting for this. So I think that's what we're going to do on next Friday. People are like, you could start the next book. We can't read more next week.
Yeah. You legitimately cannot.
This next week is going to be crazy busy for us, and finishing Kushil's Dart is about all the book we have time for.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Guillermo Barros!
Thank you so much for 10 gifted memberships. Let's
10
freaking go.
10 gifted membos. Wow, unreal.
There
Y'all
are
unreal.
Plenty of reactions to the last half of this book.
Yeah.
So go enjoy those.
6, I think? 7?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you everyone who commissioned those. It was a variety of people. But we appreciate you. It was very fun.
I think it's
a good time.
Here's the thing, though, y'all. We appreciate that, and it is incredible. I'm just going to throw out, we're doing really well right now. And so if you are considering super chatting or membership donating today, we're not going to have a sponsor today. The reality of the world is, just incessantly dark and nihilistic at every turning of the page. Mm-hmm. However, there is a situation in California right now, and we want to start a show by acknowledging it. If you noticed the link in the description down below, links to the California Community Fund, we are just saying, if you do have the spare pocket change to throw at something today, I highly recommend that you throw it their way. The situation in California is incredibly dire, and we have just a lot of friends. A lot of our people live there and are evacuating or are on the verge of evacuating. I have friends who have been posting through the night that they can't sleep. They're just sitting on the couch next to their go bag waiting to hear if they need to evacuate.
Yeah.
And it has been a rather trying 48 hours for a lot of people. And we are incredibly privileged and lucky to be in a place where we are safe and not dealing with that. But a lot of people that we love are. And we just wanted to acknowledge that this morning. And we're going to try and have some fun. We're going to try and distract ourselves, I think, from some of the thoughts running through our minds and joking about this very, very silly and very wonderful little Western book that Brandon Sanderson has written that we both love very much. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun today. But we're doing that with the knowledge and acknowledgement of how difficult things can be and are currently for some people.
Yeah.
If you want to donate, please go to the link down below.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to add?
No, I honestly think you covered it.
Yeah. It has been a week. We're 10 days into 2025.
2025 was not off to the start that I thought it would be. You know, it's Yeah.
It's so wild. Like this morning, Trump was sentenced. And so he's like officially a felon, and 10 days from now he's gonna be the president. LA's on fire. It's been the weirdest first 10 days of a year I think ever.
Yeah, man, it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
This is definitely not my favorite year so far. Because I definitely feel that. And so it's
not up to the start I thought we would be.
No, so we're just gonna keep plowing along, because we can't wallow.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to just have some fun, enjoy our morning with you guys because we love book club.
Yeah.
And some people couldn't use the distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Hazelton says, do you think you have been affected by honey? I don't think so. We don't do any like affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
Like all of our affiliate marketing that we do is MistyMountainGaming.com and GamerSups, but those are direct codes that you have to implement at checkout.
Yeah.
And we've never taken a honey sponsorship. We've been offered them a lot, actually. Or we were, less lately, in the last like year. But there was a period, especially when our like Rings of Power and House of the Dragon Season 1 videos were doing like 50, 60,000 views a video.
Yeah.
We got a lot of honey offers then, but neither of us understand how honey works. And it always seemed scam adjacent.
I don't know, yeah.
Like I've never signed up for it. I've never used it.
Yeah.
I always thought it was weird. And so the fact that it ended up being a scam is like, yeah, of course.
Crazy.
It was a service that was free that only saved you money. Of course it was a fucking scam. And so
this is why
we're not
nice
caught
things.
up in it, thankfully. It didn't seem to affect any part of our business, and we never worked with them.
Yeah. No, we had no association with honey, so I don't actually think that it could have affected us in any way. Yeah. We have no click-through links. Like I don't have like a go buy this on my Amazon. Like it's so
we should. We'd probably make money off of it.
I keep meaning to, and then I'm like, I'm busy.
We were only not affected by honey because we're lazy.
Pretty much. Yeah, that is. Well, yeah. Hey, it worked out for the best, I guess.
All right, Clarus, Alloy of Law. Mm-hmm. Welcome to the second half of the book. What'd you think of it?
I had a blast. This was so lovely. I have not changed my opinion on this book since we started. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It definitely set up more in the epilogue than I thought that it would. Really? But yeah, remember I was like in the reaction, I was like, oh, like they didn't have to give me this much. It's cool that they did. Like I'm not mad about it.
The only part of that I agree with is the Iron Eyes stuff. The stuff with Mr. Suit, which we'll get to when we get to it, that felt necessary to the book. Yeah. Like, that's what the epilogue had to touch on in my mind.
That's what I mean. It gave us a little bit extra, which was fun. I dug it.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I really enjoyed it. I think it's a tight little novel. It tells a succinct story with interesting characters who have some relationship change and some arc, and not massive amounts. This isn't a life-changing novel of, epic proportions. It's just sort of a very human story that happens to have some magic and some intrigue in it. And I think that's why it worked so well for me. Yeah. We were kind of talking about it yesterday, and I was like, it was nice to have a book that had a mystery to solve that wasn't like dangling it in front of my face. Yeah. Sometimes with the Stormlight books, I'm like, yeah, I understand that I know there's a twist coming. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas, this book didn't feel like it was like, just wait until you get to the twist. Like sometimes the Stormlight books literally feel like Sanderson is like starting each chapter with, I'm not going to tell you yet, but when you get to the twist, it's going to be so fucking cool. And I almost grow a little bit tired of that at times. Sure. And so I enjoyed the way this book unraveled upon its characters in a world that they understood and felt like they were really ingrained in and a part of.
They knew how things worked. Yeah. We weren't like figuring out I'm like, I don't know. Can I spoil like the other Cosmere stuff? I think everyone who's
we're doing all Cosmere spoilers. Yeah, I think that we've read.
I feel like Cosmere spoilers are okay.
Much like the Discord channel that we talk about this stuff in, we cover it. Yeah. Yeah. It's everything up to book club.
There's not like a primary function of how the world works that we're trying to figure out. Yeah. Like with like Spren. Like that that feels appropriate for like the Stormlight scale of things. But this was like, this is how the world works. It's a world that is familiar to us with little changes. Like CZ has tried to improve on things without getting, too in the weeds of it. Right? There's that balance, that harmony.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just nice that everyone kind of like knew how things worked. It's like, yes, this is a gun. Like, this is Allomancy. And there was no like figuring out how Allomancy worked in the like secret metal of Allomancy, even though they did introduce like a kind of secret thing that for later. But that wasn't part of this story. And so it just felt very nice and tight and concise.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I don't think it's like my favorite Cosmere book.
Sure.
I think that if I had any criticisms of it, it would be that it wraps up very neatly, but not in a way that I felt very like emotionally compelled by at the end. It didn't like tug my heartstrings.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But it also didn't really try to like it almost felt a little bit safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was very successful at what it wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I don't think it really took any like massive swings.
Yeah. And so I think that if people wanted the book to be something larger, I can understand disappointment in that. I think that if your goal with a Brandon Sanderson book is to experience that sort of wild ride at the end, there's no Sanderlanche here. You know what I mean?
No.
Like this book just has Chris Hazelin. Thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
Chris, thank you so much. Hell yeah,
that's so sweet.
There's
I appreciate
so many reactions you can go watch, and also we do have like Nerdy Nightly emotes.
Yeah, we do.
Like emotes are not as much a thing on YouTube as they are on Twitch. It's very interesting.
But if you want to use them, go ahead.
You can.
Judah Canizares, thank you for being a member for 10 months.
Thank you.
Something this book made me realize is how strong Radiants are when Miles' powers make him a huge problem where Radiants have the same as a base power. Yes and no though, Judah. Like the Radiants have that power when they have Stormlight, but there's a limit. Whereas Miles it doesn't seem like Miles' powers have a limit.
Miles also
his powers also don't make sense.
Here's the thing. I get the point that you're trying to make. Yes. But also it feels like Miles heals much faster.
Yeah, and Radiants can't heal from a head wound.
Yeah, like if you were to like kind of like relentlessly beat on somebody, like Miles doesn't even flinch when he gets hit, but the Radiants do take those hits. Like it wasn't like Kaladin's arm regrew like immediately, right?
The question I have about the compound, can we just talk about Miles' power for a second?
Shalon was hit in the head by a crossbow bolt. That is true.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah. But Shalon was, like, fucked for a minute. You know what I mean? Whereas, and so, like, they were...
No, you guys are right. I'm forgetting about Shalon taking the crossbow bolt to the head.
They work slightly differently, but in a way that is fun.
But healing from that also took a lot of Stormlight out of her, right? Whereas, like, Miles... So Miles... So here's what I find weird about Miles as a concept. I understand the compounding idea, right? Where, like, when you heal, it's, like, magnified 10 times. But wouldn't he still need to save up healing at some point? Like, it felt like the book was saying that he just always heals. But my understanding of Feruchemy is that he would still have to store healing at some point. But the book implies that if he ever stopped healing, it wouldn't work.
I thought he was just always burning gold to put it in, like...
No, but he has to store healing at some point.
Yeah.
But the book also says that he can't stop healing.
So he is... Linus, thank you for that super chat before it gets... yeah, okay. But... the fun thing is realizing... that what Miles does with healing, the Lord Ruler had for all powers, and stronger as he was not a weakened Allomancer. Like the compounding, you mean?
Yeah, he could compound everything.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that has fucking insane implications. Yeah. Okay, so.
Okay, but okay. I understand what you guys are saying. Mm-hmm. That he's 10xing his healing, but he can't just like. If you. That implies that you can just move stuff around metal mines, which doesn't really make sense to me.
What do you mean move stuff around metal mines?
Well, but what Chad is saying is that he is healing. He's creating this 10 times heal because he can compound it, and then taking 80% of that and just moving it to another metal mine, right?
What? What does moving around between different metal mines have to do? They all do the same thing functionally.
No. They're saying that when he takes some health and puts it into one of his gold metal mines and it 10x's, right? Yeah. He then takes part of that and puts it somewhere else.
What?
In a different metal mine. Okay, but here's the problem. I understand what you guys are saying, but at some point he would have to be weak. Like he can't heal all the time. But the book also establishes that he can't stop healing, and I don't understand how those can both be true.
I assumed it was like an exponential thing. Like at one point in
Shin,
his life.
thank you for gifting 5 memberships before it disappears.
We also missed.
Did we miss something?
Yeah. Shin, yes, thank you so much for 5 gifted memberships. We really appreciate that.
He could feel bad for a second to change the function of the piece of gold, that burning that gold using Allomancy means that the gold power changed. No, he's not burning Allomancy ever. His burning gold using Allomancy is meaningless to his power set.
I thought that's what compounding was, is that he could burn the gold in his system to compound the effects of his gold metal mines. But Arazu, welcome back to the Nerds Rating. Thank you for that.
Okay, but here's the problem. The compounding doesn't mean that when he takes health from one gold mine to another, it is always.
I don't know why you're talking about moving it between metal mines.
Because they are.
What?
Because the chat is. I don't know what to tell you, babe. The chat brought it up. I didn't create that.
Sorry, I don't see that.
Storing health in the gold creates a new allomantic metal that only he can burn?
Here's what I imagined. I imagined that Miles, at some point, when he discovered this, power that he has, was able to feel, weak for a little bit and then store up, which then goes 10 times. And so that, he spent, time when he was younger, maybe for a couple minutes feeling bad, but it just, exponentially builds on itself. And so he's I feel bad for, 30 seconds and, at a time in your 24-hour day. And he has, a week of incredible healing.
No, that's apparently not what's going on. Because, Carrion, I think, has the explanation that is closest to the sense. So he says he stores health in a metal mine, then burns it allomantically to heal, then uses the extra health to fill another metal mine.
Apparently I'm right, actually.
But that's not what you just said.
Yeah, it pretty much is. Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, but that the idea.
I don't know exactly what the math of it is, but if I was I'm gonna feel bad for 60 seconds of the day and have a week of beautiful, perfect healing, then that's how it is able to compound. Whereas Wayne is I need to feel bad for days on end just to heal from a bullet wound in the moment. Because Wayne is basically taking the same amount of energy that it takes to heal from a bullet.
Yes.
Probably. Roughly.
Yeah.
And just taking that energy at a different time to use instantaneously. Whereas as Miles is if Miles took days to feel bad to store in his gold mines, he would have healing for like 400 years if he got shot every day.
But it's only 10x. It's only 10x.
Sure, okay, whatever the math works out on.
But the problem is basically what Chad is saying is that because of compounding, Miles no longer needs to store any healing ever again. He can just store healing, eat his own stored heal, burn that allomantically, and then that gets 10x'd again, so he can just store the healing from that. But that to me is insane. Chris Anderson, thank you for the super chat. Store, eat stored, burn stored compounds. Yes. Judah Kansas, thank you for that super chat. He can stop healing. Yes. He just heals out of habit in order to start the process. No. That's not true, Judah. Because the book says that he can't stop. And that if he does stop, there will be real bad consequences because he's been doing it for so long.
Wait, what?
That was in the book. I didn't make that up.
Because you think that he like...
I don't think anything. The book just said that outright.
I don't remember that.
In order to start the process, he stores a little bit, then he burns that piece and blows up 10. He can store the excess again in another gold mine. No, Judah, that's not what everyone else is saying is happening. Judah's saying what I thought was happening, but didn't make sense because it said he can't stop healing. Judah's explanation makes more sense, but it's not what the book says happens.
I don't understand how that's different.
What do you mean?
I don't know. You scrolled away. I can't read it.
When you burn a metal mine, it gets tenfold.
Yeah, I don't know where it said he can't stop.
It did say that. It's like banking with compounding interest. He's healing off the interest. Yeah, but interest doesn't come from nowhere. Interest comes from a place.
Comes from the gold. Like, literally. The book says Wax thinks it's dangerous, but that's not like a fact.
Yeah.
Because I imagine, so you know how Lestibornis was able to flare for so long that it completely changed him?
Yeah, no, he's a savant. I know, I understand that Miles is a savant in the way that Lestibornis was.
Yeah.
But when Lestibornis stopped burning, it almost killed him. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Lestibornis
really
is the blueprint for what would happen to Miles if he stopped healing.
Yeah, but Lestibornis wasn't a feruchemist.
Although, okay, but if Miles did stop, he would get really sick like Lestibornis did, which would then store up health for later. So maybe that is it.
I think they're different because Lestibornis wasn't a feruchemist.
So basically, the power of the 10x comes from the gold. Okay,
yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Sure. It does seem like healing is the only power that this is super helpful with.
Being able to compound?
Others would be helpful, but it does seem like gold is definitely the most helpful then.
Well, that's what I think they called him literally the most dangerous combination.
Because with some power sets, compounding would be kind of useless.
I mean, I don't know if Marcy compounding would be useful, really.
Yeah, you can just move time 10 times faster. You know what?
Slower.
Wayne. Guillermo Barrow says, think strength. There's a limit on how strong you can be and be able to control anything that you do. Right? Like, the problem with pewter is if you were to compound pewter, if you were to be 10 times stronger, your ability to, like, do anything would be kind of crazy. She can make a bigger bubble lasting longer, make an entire city move into the future.
Can she make a bigger bubble, though?
But why would that help? Like, there's compounding things where, like, you would get useful powers to do things.
Yeah. I also, we don't have any evidence that compounding would make the bubble larger, but it's very possible that it could.
the Lord Ruler was compounding emotional allomancy to affect a really large area. Sure, but again, like what was really what ended up
Still
saving the day with allomantic power was being able to be specific with what Breeze was doing. It was touching things, plucking the strings individually, and being able to feel it out. Being able to just do a lot. It's helpful in like niche cases. Like if you're at war, being able to allomantically calm an army.
We're not saying it is not useful, but the gold is definitely the most.
Oh wait, so you can only compound.
OP.
Wait, you can only compound the feruchemy half. You can't compound the allomancy half. So if you can compound, you can store way more books. Like that seems like a useless power to me.
I don't know. Being like a walking Kindle is kind of hilarious.
But here's the problem with that. Your brain can still only take things in and out one at a time.
Ours is like, stop teaching them wrong things. We missed a super chat. Go. There's 2 there. Judah, thank you for that super chat. Some compounding combos would be very dangerous, like steel, which compounds speed. Gold is one of the combos less dangerous, especially continuous compounding.
But here's the thing.
Dangerous, but like less dangerous, but like super OP.
But here's the problem. If you're so say you have well actually no, because Wayne's speed bubbles are his allomancy, not his feruchemy.
Yeah, the feruchemy is the healing.
What speed can you... What is the speed one?
Actually, don't know. Hang on. Arzu, thank you as well for that super chat.
We read it.
Nope. Compounding only works one way. You can use a feruchemical power allomantically.
I read that.
But not the other way around. You didn't say it was a super chat.
Sorry, Arzu. Yeah.
So I thought it was just a comment.
Steel is speed.
Wait, let me read that again. Can you make the chat larger, like drag it down?
Yeah.
You can use a feruchemical power allomantically.
But not the other way around.
I don't know what that means. Sorry.
Oh, that's the whole conversation we've been having. You can feruchemically put stuff in a metal, and then only you can burn that metal.
Okay.
So like that's how Miles works.
Oh, I read that as like you can use a feruchemical power allomantically, like you can store weight and then
burn it to get heavy. Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I was thinking like that changed your it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So basically it allows you to burn other things.
Remember we said this was like a super easy, simple, straightforward book? I love this for us.
I think the book is straightforward. I think that compounding is insane. I also don't understand how the Lord Ruler lost anymore. Like, I really don't get how Vin won, given the Lord Ruler's access to these powers 10x. It really, like, the Lord Ruler really, like, fucked up. He should have won that so hard.
He got complacent, you know? Chat's like, yeah. Guys, he got complacent. He was tired, okay? He's been... He hadn't had a real threat to deal with in 5 ever.
Yeah.
Vin did get rid of his metal mines. It makes sense, but it's also like, damn, like Lord Ruler really fucked up.
But she shouldn't have been able to, because, well,
she used the mists.
Yeah.
She was like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah. It just seems like he should have been able to have 10x speed and just kill her before anything happened. Like, he should just be the Flash. It's the problem with... It is the problem with speedsters.
Monologuing.
Like, well, true.
Well, no, but that's it, because we saw him use the speed with Kelsier.
Speedsters should never have any problems. They just shouldn't. Like, the fact that the Flash has any villains at all is insane, because the ability that the Flash is described as having is beyond insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the ability to think at this, for your brain to be able to process 20 times faster than the average human brain should just be the end of all problems in Central City. It just should be. And it should be the end of problems on Earth. Like, the Flash should just be able to solve every problem in history.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where, like, the Lord Ruler losing has to come down to God shit and convenience, because speedsters should not have problems. They just should never. No one should ever be able to escape the Flash because he can search the entire city in 5 seconds. What do you mean they ran away? What do you mean they're 2 blocks away and you can run the entire city in 12 seconds? We've watched you do it multiple times on the show. What do you mean they went down the hallway and you don't know where they are? You can search the entire building in the time it takes them to go from one room to the other. What do you mean they got away? How is that possible? And we did this for 9 seasons.
He didn't have enough
There are
food
9 seasons of The Flash.
He needed
There's
a
an episode in season 7 where he struggles to fight a swarm of bees and he moves at the speed of light. What do you mean the bees were a problem? They're bees. You're the Flash.
It's the bees.
Anyway.
So did Snickers ever do a sponsor for the Flash?
No.
That's
what?
sad.
Why would?
Doesn't he need food? Like he's gotta like.
Yeah, but like Snickers are not dense enough.
I mean.
He needs super Snickers. It's literally episode 2. Is Cisco has to come up with like a bar that he eats to justify his caloric intake.
Oh wow.
Yeah. They introduced every single show with superpowers for a while did a thing where they were like, but the caloric intake would be insane, and
This
so the
is my
super
secret
smart
food.
character invents superfood for them.
Can I have superfood, please? I want caked up booty. Thank you. Someone get me a superfood. I started taking creatine.
Yeah, proud of you.
No difference.
All right, we've had a dumb enough conversation about this.
No, I think it's important.
I'm sure it makes enough sense.
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
Super alcohol. Oh. Wait, so that you can't metabolize it super fast so you actually get drunk? Is that what super alcohol is?
Yeah, no, that is... Well, no, it would kill a normal human. But it's because the Flash can't drink. Because every time he drinks alcohol, his metabolism processes it so quick. So in one episode, they invent an alcohol to get him drunk for fun.
Get drunk?
And then shit goes sideways while he's drunk, and he has to like drunkenly figure out how to save the day.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I've seen all 9 seasons of The Flash.
Super alcohol is also known as poison. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, just...
Yeah, I've seen every episode of The Flash. Come at me. No, I don't want you to calculate. I've seen every episode of the CW except for Superman and Lois.
Right.
Don't calculate how much of my life that is.
Nobody do the math on it.
Don't you dare calculate how much of my life that is.
Yeah.
When someone was like, you watched 220 hours of Smallville, I went... Ugh.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
I
mean, I made it through Supergirl season 1.
And I made it through Supergirl season 5.
Yeah. They be like that sometimes.
All right. Let's dive into the book.
Hell yeah.
We're only 35 minutes in.
It's fine. We're having a good time. Smallville is Justan's favorite show. He watches it every year.
That's very gay of him.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks that I should react to the Superman and Lois show.
We saw a couple episodes.
We watched episode 1. And then I don't think we watched another one.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe we watched 2, but we didn't watch much of it.
Oh, I feel like I remember a decent amount.
Did we watch more of that show?
I thought so.
I don't remember anything about it. I know we watched the pilot, but I don't remember watching any more than that.
I remember Superboy playing football.
Oh, maybe we watched season 1.
No, we did not watch the whole season. I don't think.
I have no idea.
I don't know. React to Smallville?
I couldn't. I know the show too well.
I absolutely...
Smallville was my whole life. There was a time when Smallville was the only thing I cared about. That, like... Well, no, because I think Smallville was the same time as Buffy. Well, no, I think it was Angel at that point, though.
Okay, I was like, what about Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
They might have overlapped by, like, 1 season, but I don't think they overlapped by much.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure Buffy was 1997 to 2004, and Smallville was 2004 to 2014. So it would have overlapped with Angel, though, and Angel was the other thing I cared about. The puppet episode. If you've never seen the Angel puppet episode, you have to watch the entire show to make just for the puppet episode.
Oh, I was like, I'll react to it.
And for Fred.
I'm not going to react to the whole show.
Fred.
Smallville was 2001.
Smallville was 2001? Oh my god. I've never seen an episode of Supernatural, me monk. I'm not going to start. There's 15 seasons.
I watched episode 1. It was good. I liked it. And then I didn't watch anything else. Because I was like, this is a lot.
Oh, if you loved Buffy, you've got to watch Angel Seth Butler. Angel's so good. Fred, man. The puppet episode. Yeah. All right, let's talk about Alloy of Law. Puppets Pain. Yes, Danny. Yes, Dan.
Sure.
Over on Twitch. Chapter 10, where we last left off with Alloy of Law, the Ladrian house had been booped out of existence by a big old bomb in the butler's undercarriage.
All right.
No, his basket. I don't know.
Undercarriage could mean something else.
Arzu, you can't call X Minutes and No Book Talk. We've been talking about the book.
No.
We just weren't talking about the chapters in order. But we were talking about the book for most of that.
Questionable.
No, we were talking about the book.
We were talking about
Miles' powers is talking about the book.
I also like Torchwood.
Oh yeah, Torchwood was
great show. Anyways, yeah, chapter 10. They do the sneaky out of the mansion after it bursts into flame. And they go investigate the Vanishers hideout. It's like right by the canal dock. So they're like, oh, this is probably going to be super duper relevant. Love that for us.
Yeah.
They search for traps. There's plenty of traps. They grab some dynamite from these traps, which is definitely going to be super important in a little bit.
And also super cool. And this book has one of my favorite uses of dynamite ever in it.
Yeah, no, it's fucking great.
There's one of the things I really like about the way in which they approach this factory is that Marcy is not... One thing that frustrates me in media is when you have two experts and they bring along the newbie who's along for the story.
Yeah. And
the newbie solves stuff and the experts are like, oh.
I'm like, damn, you're good at this.
And it's like really obvious shit that the experts should have figured out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It drives me fucking wild when they make the experts dumb in order to build up the like newcomer. It's this book does the right version of it, which is they listen to her and they let her figure things out on her own, but they generally already know the information.
Well, and it's less about like when you use that kind of trope, it can't be like factual stuff that they should know. It just has to be a different perspective on something that they hadn't considered because they've been doing it for so long.
And there are times where Marcy's perspective is different from theirs and they learn from that.
For sure.
But like, I like that they didn't dumb down Wax and Wayne in order for Marcy to be valuable.
Yeah, she feels kind of like their intern.
Yeah.
She's doing a free internship.
James Ross says they also had street smarts where she has book smarts. Yeah, to some extent. I think that Wax is definitely educated.
For sure.
But I do like that they are like intuitive and she knows the percentages. She's like 7 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 doctors recommend this toothpaste.
I know the statistics. 9 out of 10 doctors recommend this brand of cigarettes.
One of my favorite things about toothpaste, though, is like, what dentist is like, I don't recommend that toothpaste? You know what I mean? Like, what toothpaste is so bad that even one dentist was like, I wouldn't put that in my mouth? How did you only get 4 out of 5?
I don't know.
Like, every toothpaste has 4 out of 5. Who is this dentist that isn't recommending toothpaste?
Well, maybe they are a holistic natural medicine person who's like, bananas cure cancer, you know?
Yeah. I find like the 4 out of 5 dentist thing drives me fucking crazy. It's the dumbest marketing stunt ever because I've never bought a toothpaste and been like, oh God, I'm glad 4 out of 5 dentists.
The 10th dentist just didn't respond to the email. It's probably that.
It's Colgate total. Literally every dentist will be like, yes, please brush twice a day with that. Maybe 3 times. I don't care.
Damn, 3
Every
times?
dentist I know is like, I actually don't care what toothpaste you use. Just please brush your teeth and floss.
Pretty much.
Why are you not doing those things?
Make sure you're flossing your teeth, kids.
And so we get Wayne's backstory, which is that he killed a man. And he did the murder and was going to get hung for it. And Wax stepped in and turned his life around, gave him a second chance.
Still don't know how that happened legally, but it doesn't matter.
Well, I think that sometimes when you see I think it was 19 when it happened?
He was
18?
No, he was like a kid.
He was a kid, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that you just see a kid on the chopping block and you go, I'm going to give him a chance.
Yeah, he was 16. Yeah,
16.
I was like,
I
think
16.
he was underage. He got into look, we all did dumb shit when we were kids, but I think that the dumber the people are around you, the dumber shit you end up doing.
Well, and
right?
also the danger of your community, right?
Yeah,
he was 16 in a place without any sort of real social structure.
Yeah,
other than survive.
I think this was such a really heartfelt chapter. Because Wayne didn't hold anything back. He wasn't trying to hide things from Marcy. He's like, this is what I did. This is the kind of person that I am, and this is what I am trying to do to make it better. And he's never I am going to make it, I am going to atone for it.
No, he acknowledges that some things you can never have redemption for.
Exactly.
Wayne is saying all of the shit that I was saying during Stormlight Book Club that people were like, no, this is a redemption book. And I was like, no, it's not. Wayne is doing redemption shit. Getting into this again. But Wayne agrees with me. Wayne parrots everything I fucking said in that book club, and he's right.
No, he doesn't talk about forgiveness versus redemption, and he does not say if redemption is the actions versus the intent. He did not have the conversation that we had in book club.
I'm saying that Wayne acknowledges that some things there is no end to it. There's no, which is what I was saying about the Star Wars version of redemption isn't real redemption.
No, it's if you do something nice right before you die, you're good.
Yeah. And
yeah,
Wayne is acknowledging a truth about the universe that I believe.
Yeah.
Which is that
not everything
just
can be redeemed.
being better
doesn't
actually redeem your past actions.
Yeah.
They are still they're still there.
Yeah,
right?
And he's not looking for that outside validation.
No, but he is actively putting in place ways in which he is trying to better the people who he directly harmed.
Yeah.
Right? And that it's the thing that I want Dalinar and I want those characters to do in Stormlight is to acknowledge and become a better person.
Yeah.
But then work towards the betterment of the people that you've harmed.
Yeah.
Directly. And Wayne is sending money to the kids of the dad. He is doing his best to help them as much as he can.
Yeah.
He's creating a pathway for him to feel like he has done what he could in light of his actions.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a real beauty in his worldview on that.
Yeah, and it also really sheds a different perspective on him infiltrating the precinct because that kid that's there, he's like, who's the newest member?
Yeah.
Goes over to this kid who's just in this group that he doesn't really fucking know why he's there.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey man, get out of this. You're gonna go here. You're gonna get out. You're gonna stop this, and you're going to make something else out of your life. Because Wayne was given that opportunity, and he has firsthand experience of how that changes you as a person. I just, that moment was already so good when it happened. And then to have this reveal about him shortly afterwards, I think it was really emotionally poignant, I think.
Yeah. I will also say that there's just so much power in his honesty.
Yeah.
Marcy went because he's such a joke character, right? Yeah. So much of him is jokes and comedy and he's comedic relief. But when he starts talking about this, it catches Marcy off guard.
Yeah.
Because she's like, oh, where's the joke?
Yeah.
And he's like, I killed a man. And she's like, oh, haha. And he's like, no, I killed a man.
Yeah.
He was a father. And like, the way in which he spells out his crime here.
Yeah.
With how honest and direct he is about it was such a cool moment.
Yeah. He doesn't shirk away. He's not like trying to pretend to be something that he's not.
There's no excuses.
Yeah.
This is a man being like, I fucked up.
Yeah.
And I am acknowledging that I fucked up.
Yeah.
And I really love this moment. It made me love Wayne even more than I already did.
Yeah.
Because it's
very well
so
done.
good. Yeah.
100%. Judah, thank you for that super chat. A lot of people who have read this book take a lot of issue with Wayne's more problematic tendencies. Do you think his personality overshadows these? They take issues with, like, what do you mean? Like his stealing?
The way he treats women? Yeah. I think...
What do you mean? What do you mean by the way he treats women? Like the kind of like comments.
Yeah, I mean, if he commented about your breasts in that way, I think that you would have a problem with it.
I mean,
the clouds above your fertile field.
Look,
Marcy is.
I would laugh, but I also am not the correct demographic to ask for a like litmus test.
That's fair. I think it depends on how well you know him, right? Like. I think that because we've read the book, we feel like we know him, and so it feels a little bit safer. But if you didn't know, if a man you didn't know said that to you, you would be offended.
I mean, they
if a guy came up to you at the bar,
death together.
No, I know. But if a guy came up to you at the bar, or sorry, at the gym, right, and talked about the clouds hanging over your fertile fields.
But that's not their first meeting.
Sure, but it's like the third. They've known each other for like 36 hours at this point.
Sure, I just mean that like they are surviving death. I think that Wayne is definitely a person who takes things too far. But like it also I think is more of a reflection of this society, cuz like when I think of westerns, there is an inherent misogyny in it.
Yeah, of course.
And so I think that Wayne is more reflecting their society and his lived experience than his, like, personal feelings towards women. Does that make sense?
No, and I agree with that. And I think that what's interesting about it is that I don't actually find... I found Wayne to be... more of a commentary than a character at times. And so, yeah, I like, you know, and I think it's also the tough part about the joke of what Wayne is into sexually is he is like, I like women who are harder to catch. You know what I mean? Like, there's that element of it which leads to relationships that are a little bit more...
beat me up.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people who are in relationships where the line between toxic and fetish is blurred and... Can you scroll up? Yeah. You know, like, there's a weird... Scroll up to that. You read that.
Oh, did I?
That's a super chat that started this conversation.
Yeah. Sorry, thank you.
Yeah, you're good. You know, like, and I've got friends who are in relationships where, like, they fight in a way that they like, that I'm on the outside, like, this makes people around you uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
and
God.
I get that you think it's fun or hot or whatever. It sucks to be around you when you guys behave that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like if Wayne and Renette got together... even if they enjoyed it, I think from an outside perspective, it would be uncomfortable to watch their relationship.
Yeah.
We'll get to Renette. Well, let's get to the Renette stuff when we get to it.
Well, and I
agree that Wayne is a misogynist, by the way. I more so than my wife, I think, does. But
no, here's the thing. I think that Wayne is problematic in a way that makes him feel like a real character. Like, I don't think that it overshadows things. Like, just going back to Judah's question, I don't think that it overshadows. I think that I'm like, yeah, I know this guy.
Yeah.
I've met this guy, you know? Like...
I think it's the difference between like, I really like him as a character.
Yeah.
And I enjoy his desire to be better. But the only reason he desires to be better is because he's not a great guy. And, like, Wayne would not be someone I would spend any amount of time with as a friend in real life. But I like reading about him. Does that make sense? Like,
Wayne would be a worse person without Wax.
Sure, but Wax would be a better person without Wayne.
Well, I don't know about that. Wax doesn't ever seem to be swayed by Wayne at all.
Sure, but it would be nicer to be around Wax if Wayne wasn't part of the combo. There are people that I would love to be friends with who have a best friend that I will not tolerate. And I'm like, I love you, but if your friend or your boyfriend, there are girls in our life who I'm like, I would love to hang out with you, but if your boyfriend is with us, you know exactly who I'm talking about too. Mm-hmm. He was a nightmare, and it was awful. He was kind of we had this friend. They're not together anymore, thank God. But you know, he was kind of Wayne-like, and
so much worse.
But there is that weird thing where, like, if Wax is around, I feel like I could have a great drink with Wax. If Wayne was there, I think I would be annoyed.
Okay.
In real life.
Yeah.
In the book, I like him. But I like him because I don't have to hang out with him.
Yeah. That's what I mean. He just feels like a character. He feels like a person. Sorry. Like an actual fully fledged out human being.
But he also feels like a person that I would, like, go to a different part of the party from.
Yeah.
I think I would find him entertaining for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I would be like, I'm going to go find the food.
He's the person you don't want to make a speech at a wedding, you know?
No, but he's the person who, if he made a speech at a wedding, I would happily watch it on TikTok.
Yeah.
He can't talk at my wedding, but if I was at somebody else's wedding and he got up to speak, I would be riveted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, Wayne tells his life story, and then they find a cigar box, which belongs to Miles, our lovely invincible villain.
Yeah. And Miles is the bad guy.
Yeah.
But Miles was the lawman.
Keeper. That
was a respected lawman, except for the fact that he killed everybody.
Yeah.
He was just...
I guess in the roughs, it's a death sentence.
Yeah, but, like, the book kind of makes it sound like he killed people for, like, anything.
Well, yeah, he killed people for being criminals. Whether or not that's, like,
but there are levels of being criminals.
Yeah, that's what I mean,
yeah.
You don't get sentenced to community service or jail time. You just get sentenced. If you're guilty, whatever you're accused of, you die.
Yeah.
There is no redemption.
And Wax finds out some shit from the local beggars that they were pulling shit in on the river, which we called last week. We called the canal so hard.
Yeah.
Not that was hard. That was fairly obvious. So then chapter 11, we get some Miles POV. And Miles is talking with Tarson, who is the Kolos-blooded motherfucker.
Yeah.
And Clamps.
Nerdy's favorite character.
Guys, Clamps. We don't know what happened to Clamps, so Clamps could come back in the next book. And I want Clamps to be the big bad, because it's so funny that Clamps is here. He's a robot from Futurama, which means he's made of metal, which means this world would be dangerous for him. I
mean, Clamps is like, we should have fucking murdered all the beggars. So... I
mean, he's right. They would have won if they had. They're already the bad guys.
Sure, yeah.
If Wax and Wayne were debating that, I'd be like, well, no, they're wrong. But you're already, like, planning on killing people.
I guess so.
Like, you're... Like, being like, well, God, you know, we are murderers, but let's draw the... Well, they're actually not at this point, weirdly. Well, no, I guess, yeah, they killed one guy. At this point.
Yeah, and Miles did kill him.
The proletariat. Prostitutaliat. Whatever that fucker's name was.
The ex-constable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're in the hideout.
I'm great with names. I am fucking
fantastic.
Great with them.
We meet Mr. Suit.
Yeah.
Who's basically the financial backer and informant for the Vanishers. Who's not actually a huge fan of the Vanishers being the Vanishers, but they're cooking up something.
Which is weird given what we learn at the end of the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I think that the surprise, I'm going to spoil the end of the book right now really quick to make this point. At the end of the book we find out that Mr. Suit's whole deal is that they're trying to like bankrupt House Tikiel.
Yeah.
And here he's like, you have to be so dramatic. We don't need you to be dramatic. But if your goal is to bankrupt House Tikiel by ruining their reputation for security so that people aren't willing to... It's like financial ruin so that you can then buy the contracts and do insurance fraud. You need the robberies to be heavily publicized. And in order for them to be heavily publicized, they have to be interesting. And so, given what Mr. Suit says in the epilogue about what he was trying to accomplish, Miles and his team being the Vanishers and being scary and being and selling papes, as the newsies would say.
Papes. No, broadsheets.
Selling them papes on the street corners. It seems like them being the Vanishers and them being talked about was actually beneficial to the plan of it ruining House Tikiel's relationships because it became public.
Yeah.
And because people were interested. Like, if the Vanishers had been less public and people weren't as interested and this was all happening in the background, it wouldn't have ruined the reputation in the same way as quickly. So I actually, like, disagree with Mr. Suit about his idea of the drama being a bad thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. No, you would...
Like, yeah. the publication of it would be beneficial to what Mr. Suit's trying to accomplish.
Maybe Mr. Suit was just trying to be antagonistic because he wanted to piss off Miles because Miles had to get caught.
But,
I don't know.
But also, and this is where things get kind of complicated. Miles getting caught is also bad for Mr. Suit.
Is it?
Yeah, because here's the thing. The Vanishers dying, but the knowledge that the women that they kidnapped were taken by somebody else implies that there is a somebody else.
No, they said they were gonna... They said that they planted people to testify that Miles raped and killed the women that were captured. So there is nobody else.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, never mind. I take that back. Yeah.
Yeah. Austin, thank you for that super chat. Doesn't it make it worse? It looked like they were being robbed by randoms than supervillains.
No.
Well, no, you have to justify it somehow.
Yeah. That doesn't make a difference.
People love the drama of it all. The reason they're talking about the Vanishers is because it makes for a good story.
Well, in this world, everyone's gonna have superpowers are just a thing. Like, I don't think... Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah, if this were a world where magic didn't exist, maybe. But it's like, oh yeah, Allomancers or some shit, you know? Like...
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's not like superpowers are rare.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Obviously, Mr. Suit is going to be the villain of, like, this series. And
I don't know about that.
Oh, okay, well.
I think that Iron Eye showing up at the end implies that there's going to be something larger by the end.
Oh, definitely larger. But I just mean he's going to be around for the next little while. There might be other reasons that get cleared up as we get further into the series. But I don't think... I don't know. Yeah.
Chris Rapper says most people aren't missing their Allomancers, though. Sure, but also, like, Mr. Suit at the end says that he has 24 Allomancers on the train. Like, they're not rare. It's not like people, like, know the names of Allomancers.
Rare. Yeah.
Right? It's not...
They're not celebrities. It's not like Superman. Everyone knows who Superman is.
People are just kind of... They're just kind of around.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of them. And there's enough that, like, they exist in the roughs and they exist in the city, and, you know, some people hide it, some people don't. If it was so rare that everyone was, like, on a list... Yeah, Zephyr's right. Like, everyone knows an Allomancer. Most of them are probably useless, right? Like, there's probably a bunch of copper clouds out there.
Yeah.
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 So then, Mr. Suit, he's like, can you deal with Wax? And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go kill him. We cut over to Wax and Wayne. We're still in chapter 11 here. And they're talking, this is mostly just info dumping about Miles. And we start to understand that Miles has this, like, gold exponential power shit. This dude is hating on clubs. I'm not hating on clubs, Shimps Lady. You're just
less useful.
They're less useful now because that Lord Ruler isn't trying to kill everybody.
Yeah.
Clubs got less useful as those books went on.
That's why
he died. Was great in the first one. And then after that, it was like, well, we are the ruling party now. Oh, yeah. No, I know. But I have to respond to your joke seriously.
Jokes are supposed to be funny.
Do we want to talk about the fact that Brandon Sanderson is writing, like, the ruling class winning a lot? Do we want to get into that or no? No, okay, let's move on.
The ruling class winning.
Mistborn Era 1 was, like, this revolutionary idea, right? The underclass rising up against the upper class, and kind of, like, taking back power, right? Trying to benefit people. Since then, every Brandon Sanderson book we've read is about, like, maintaining the status quo, which is fine because that's real and that's what most of life is, but it's also kind of depressing to me. And
you think this book was about keeping the status quo?
Yeah.
I thought this book was about stopping a guy from thieving and kidnapping people.
Sure, but Miles' perspective is that the rich people in the city are making life harder on the people in the roughs.
Miles' perspective is kill everybody wantonly because everything sucks.
That's definitely not his perspective, because he definitely didn't kill wantonly. That he never kills wantonly once in the whole book. In fact, he kills one person.
He has no problem killing anybody.
He kills exactly one person in the entirety of this book.
He literally fucking explodes himself without a care of who is nearby.
Sure.
He would have blown up half his own men. He would not give a fuck.
Sure, but to say that he kills wantonly is not true. It just isn't. He kills one person. And even then, he has to be, like, goaded into it. But he doesn't kill wantonly. The first 5 robberies go down with 0 casualties. I'm just saying that to say he kills wantonly is not fair to his character.
He's like, you know what? My boys could use a bit of a release. Go murder the room.
Sure. That's still robbery, like, 6. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not wanton. That's not his goal. His goal is... And that's also only at the richest of the rich wedding, which is, again...
Where there are butlers and servants and people who are just trying to do their fucking jobs.
I'm not saying that he is uncomfortable with...
He's like, yeah, these women, go rape them. That's fine. You can have them. He does not give a fuck about people. He is just trying to convince himself that he is better than everybody else and that his idea of what the world should be like is better than everybody else's.
That's not true.
Oh, yeah, no.
He has a genuine ideal that he would like to benefit.
Yeah, he thinks he is divinely chosen to enact his will upon society. He killed every criminal he caught as a lawman.
Yeah, no, I know.
Kills wantonly.
That's not wanton. You can't just use the word wanton.
Kills without care or mercy.
But that isn't what he's doing. Miles has a reason for why he does what he does. It's not just random. He's not the fucking Joker. right? Like, he has a purpose and he has an ideal that he is striving towards. It isn't wanton. It isn't just random destruction.
Okay, it's not random. That's fair.
And so that's what I'm pushing back on. Like,
okay.
Miles is not out here just doing shit to do random shit.
Okay.
Wanton...
He just does not care about sparing any lives. He will kill anybody with any reason.
But it has to be pointed towards a purpose.
Yeah, if you give him a reason,
which is the opposite of wanton
kill
killing.
you, no problem.
Wanton would mean, like, he just goes on a train and starts killing people just to do it. Which is not what he's doing.
Sure.
Like, every scenario he ends up in, there is a purpose to it.
All right.
Because he believes in something. Like, the Joker kills wantonly. But Miles is not that, right?
All right.
It's very intentional, and it is towards an ideal, which is to lay low the ruling class, because he does not believe... Oh, he's definitely callous, Simon. You're right. But he's not wanted. He wants to lay low the ruling class because he believes that they are creating a societal pressure upon the lower classes, which is creating crime at an exponential rate, because they are under the boot of essentially capitalism, right? Mm-hmm. And this book is about a guy who is a rich lord who also has superpowers, mm-hmm. who beats up the criminals who are the lower class so that the upper class can continue to live and put that pressure societally on the lower class.
I don't think he beat up people in the roughs so that Ellendale, so that the city was able to...
He literally went there and worked as a lawman for the city
not for the city.
I mean, yeah, that's...
No.
It is in the book.
No, he removed himself from the city.
Sure, but the laws of the roughs are still held and maintained by the city. Like, even...
What? No, the point is that they're separate.
They're not separate, though. Like, the laws in the roughs are the laws of the city that are... That's Miles' whole problem with it. That's the whole book. That is maybe that's why you think Miles killed wantonly. His whole thing is that the situation in the roughs is created by the rich people in the city.
Which is a fucking ass backwards fucking idea, because there are no laws in the roughs. There's literally 5 people out there who have decided on a moral structure and are upholding it in the roughs. There's no, actual, policing system that the city enforces. It's some dudes going out there because they feel like they can help people, and they do. There's no, written set of laws for the roughs. But it isn't ass backwards
to say that the people living on the fringes of a wealthy society who are not given the resources that the wealthy society could provide are being left out of the wealth that is being extracted from the land by the wealthy, which is what Miles' problem with it is.
Sure, and then Marcy says that crime is actually worse in the city. So the roughs have kind of got it better. If that's what the metric is, right? Miles is just a severely misguided character who believes he's chosen by God because he's got magic powers.
Yes, he's misguided in a lot of ways,
mm-hmm.
but he isn't 100% wrong about the way the wealthy lord their wealth over lower classes, right?
I mean,
this is a problem.
Probably. However, we don't really see much of that. We have perspectives in the city, and there doesn't seem to be horrible, destitute neighborhoods where people are starving and don't have jobs and are being attacked every day.
Except that Marcy says that statistically there's more crime in the city than there is in the roughs.
Yeah. There are more people there.
Mm-hmm. Austin Arminio says, Nerdy, did you miss the part about Miles kidnapping women for possible breeding? I am not agreeing with Miles' plan.
Thank you for that super chat.
I'm not saying that Miles should have won. I am saying that Brandon Sanderson is becoming an author across the reading that we're doing, who is falling into the trope, in my opinion, and this is my problem with the season 2 of Arcane and of place. This is the big problem with Black Panther, right? The movie is that there is so much suffering that is established in the world of Black Panther, and you have Killmonger show up and be like, hey, this is bad, and we could do something about it. And then they're like, oh, but actually we don't want to write a book about people trying to actually solve those problems. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the good guy want to maintain the status quo under which people are suffering, and we're going to have the bad guy be so extreme that the good guy has to stop him.
In what way do you think that Wax is maintaining the status quo?
I mean, he's literally a lord.
Okay. He employs
20,000
people.
Yeah.
So how is he's just by his existence?
He's on the Senate Council.
Okay.
Because his family gets to be on the Senate Council. Like that is a level of power that is given to him just because that in the wealth disparity of society feels unfair to people.
I just don't think that this book is about the ruling class maintaining the status quo.
No, I'm saying that Brandon Sanderson's books in general, other than the original Mistborn trilogy, are about the wealthy and the privileged having superpowers and sometimes commenting on the way in which other people are less privileged than them, but ultimately...
You think Wayne is privileged?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
But Wayne is also working to uphold other people's wealth and not his own.
Working to uphold other people's wealth?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately they're protecting the wealth. Like the only people who genuinely are attacked by Miles at any point in this book are the wealthy, right? Like Miles isn't attacking poor people. They're not stealing from poor people, right? They're stealing from the wealthy because they have this misguided and gross. Like the kidnapping of women is gross. I'm not supporting Miles, but I'm saying that like across Elantris and Warbreaker and the Stormlight Archive and now this, the characters who are lower class, Kaladin, Lopin, Wayne in this, their function becomes to support the ruling classes. In Elantris, we watched everyone in that is a king or a queen or a prince or a princess or a god, right? In Warbreaker. In Elantris, it's the prince of one country is going to marry the princess of another country, fighting the ruling elite of a third country.
Isn't that just because it allows that character access to things that the poor people wouldn't have in terms of servicing the story? Like, if you have a bread maker and a fucking blacksmith getting married, that doesn't affect the politics of an entire country of people, and the stakes are much lower.
Sure, I think that the politics of Brandon Sanderson's worlds are... there are backdrops of racism, and there are... Like, there are ways in which the suffering of the lower class is used to set the tone of the world that I don't think these books want to get into in any deeper level than that. And so they are...
we talked about how we like that this book is just like...
100%. I'm just saying... I don't think that this book should have gone into that. Oh. I'm just saying it's becoming a trend across Brandon Sanderson's writing that the trend of these characters being sort of privileged characters who are then confronted by a character who is saying your privilege and your place in society is a weight upon my people, and those characters kind of go like, yeah, you're right, but also I'm going to stop you, and then I'm not going to do anything about how my privilege interacts with your reality of society, is consistent across these books. It is very
I just don't think that Miles is actually working to protect anybody or make their lives better. I think
that is a perspective that you can have, but that doesn't mean it's true, because Miles believes that he is.
So who is he helping?
Well, no one, because he fails.
But who is he trying to help?
He wants to help the lower classes.
How?
Unless you think that he's just lying. Unless you think that he is just lying the entire book and everything he does is for no reason.
Look,
which I think is one way to read it, but I don't think it's a very interesting take on him as a character.
I genuinely think that Miles has no fucking clue what he's doing. I don't think that his plan is going to help anybody at all.
Sure, and you can believe that, but that doesn't mean that Miles doesn't want it to succeed. Miles would like to lay low the ruling class so that there can be more equality in this society. That is what he wants. Whether or not you think his plan is going to do that is irrelevant to me in terms of what does Miles believe he is going to accomplish?
Here's the thing. It feels like a front. He just feels like a fucking crazy person who has this mandate from God, and he's just hurting people.
I don't agree with that at all. I genuinely think that that goes against his character in every way possible.
He tries to convince himself in every single interaction that he has with Wax.
No, he's trying to convince Wax. He's not trying to convince himself. He firmly believes what he is saying. He spent 15 years watching things not get better.
I think, honestly, that he saw that Waxilium did a better job in the roughs than he did, and he had this grand idea that he wants affirmations from Wax for, which is why he can't shut up when they're in the same room together. Because literally Miles cannot shut up about his holier-than-thou plans every time they're in the same room together. Because if he
because he thinks that if anyone would understand his point of view, it's Wax, because they both failed in the roughs. Wax didn't do any better than Miles.
Well, Wax didn't murder everybody that he came across.
But it's not murder to him because it was illegal. He was.
I think if you kill somebody who
he was killing criminals, he doesn't view it as murder.
Yeah, but what is a criminal?
A criminal,
like someone who shoved you at a bar.
Sure, but the point I'm making is that to say that Miles is trying to convince himself of something, I think that he knows what he believes. And I think that he's very clear about what he believes. And I where his belief comes from makes sense throughout the book. He's incredibly nihilistic because he saw it never work. But he also goes to Wax and says, "You know this is true too. You never succeeded either." And Wax agrees with him to some degree, right? Not about how to move forward, but Wax is like, yeah, no, you're right. Like, I also felt like it was a waste of time in my life.
Yeah, because human brains tend to focus on negativity instead of positivity. And so it feels like you're not doing enough in helping people because, unfortunately, human beings' brains suck like that.
Judah Kansars, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you.
Nerdy's kind of right because Wax admits that to a degree Miles is right. He doesn't do enough and the ruling class does abuse people. But Wax also promises to do better, but Miles says Wax is incapable. Yeah, and I hope that these books do get into Wax trying to change things for the better for the people who are being abused, right? I just think that Brandon Sanderson's books bring up that these ruling class characters keep being like, we're going to do better by them, and then introduce a god threat, and so the books move on from the doing better by people, and it becomes sort of these characters pay lip service to the idea of being better for the abused classes.
We don't see abused classes in this book, though.
Okay, but they are brought up. They are mentioned in the book.
Who?
Judah just said that they're mentioned in the book. So unless you're disagreeing with me and the super chat.
Who, though? The
Wax
roughs
literally
are definitely a rougher place to live.
Wax literally says, you're right, the ruling class does impose themselves upon people in the way that Miles is complaining about.
I just don't... I feel like...
The book does not...
I missed something in this book.
There is no cutscene in the book where we cut to people in squalor. You're right. There is no... It is not shoved in your face, but it hangs over the book in a lot of these dialogue scenes. And Miles and Wax talk about it constantly because it's real. Not because the two of them are talking about nonsense that doesn't exist.
To me, it just felt like there are people who are richer than other people, which, I don't know how you create a society where that's not the case.
But this isn't about people being richer than other people. This is a society where, several families own the world.
Own and employ people. I don't...
But they have ultimate power over people. And if that family fucks up, your business is dead. That is the function of this world. Wax literally says if his family goes destitute...
fucked up and went away, we would not have a platform. That's just kind of how employment works.
Okay, but we're not employed by YouTube.
Sure, we do kind of work for them, though. We're contracted in a way.
No, we don't work for YouTube. That is...
Okay, if you're a cashier at Walmart and suddenly Walmart goes under, it's that is just how employment works.
Sure, but you can get another job and you can start making the exact same amount of money that you were at the last job, right? But in this case, if your family goes under, you go become a lower class citizen in another family for generations until you... Yes. remember at the beginning of the book, Wax was like, if our family goes destitute, then the people who work under me will have to go become lower class citizens in another family. Mm-hmm. And then within a couple of generations, they will be able to build their reputation with that family back up to the point where they're where they are now.
Yeah.
Generations. This is a society where, like, the families control your profit as a underling of them for generations to get to your grandkids might get to the point you're at now. Like, that is a level of control that is unhealthy from a societal standpoint.
Sure, that just feels like capitalism to me.
Right, but I am a critic of capitalism. And so when I see the book upholding the ideals of it, I'm going to criticize that.
I just don't think the book upholds the ideas of capitalism good. Like, just because Wax is richer as a character doesn't mean he's like, we're right to be better than you and richer than you and have control over your lives.
But I'm saying that, like, Wax acknowledges it, and he pays lip service to the idea that we're going to do better. I want to see the do better part. I would like to see that in the Cosmere books, because Dalinar keeps saying he's going to do better, and in Elantris they're going to do better, and in at the end of Warbreaker they're not going to do better. They fuck off and don't do anything.
Yeah, well, Vivenna does.
In one of these series, I would like to see the do better part.
In Mistborn.
But Mistborn isn't that. Mistborn, they fucking kill the ruling class and they take over. And then the do better is the people who took over who were the poor people. And yes, Elend is part of that.
Elend is there.
But But
sometimes violent revolution is like what has to happen. And obviously in Mistborn Era 1, that was kind of like, that kind of had to happen.
I'm just saying that at some point in this magic Cosmere world, where we keep paying lip service to the idea of doing better by the lower classes, I would just like to see it happen.
All right.
That's it. Instead of it just being like, we're going to pay lip service to it, and then a god threat happens, and so actually, let's not worry about the Dark-Eyed thing right now. The racism of Stormlight, we'll get to that after we beat Odium. And it's like, okay, but after we beat Odium, I want to see that happen.
All right.
I want Dalinar to be more than lip service to the idea of being better by the people you harm. And if you're going to write your entire Cosmere universe about these rich characters who we can understand how they were born into privilege and it isn't their fault, but also they are upholding that system of privilege, right? I would like to see them do more than just acknowledge that it's bad.
All right.
Which is what everything other than the first Mistborn trilogy has done. We're just like, we're 9 books past the first Mistborn trilogy.
We were like, wow, this book is a really nice, easy read. I love that it was very
Which is why I was like, should we bring this up? And we shouldn't have, because it's been 30 minutes of talking about this.
Okay, thank you for that super chat. I've had a long-running theory that the overarching plot of Cosmere Part 1 is revolution. There has been a revolution in every series so far, and it seems intentional.
Not true.
What do you mean?
There's not been a revolution in every series so far.
I mean,
there's no revolution in Warbreaker.
Yeah, they tried.
Or I guess there's a failed one.
There's a failed one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. There's not really a revolution in Elantris. There's a war, but like, there's no revolution. The prince gets superpowers and fights the bad guys from another country. Like, there's no. That's not really a revolution. And Stormlight Archive, I wouldn't really call Stormlight a revolution.
I mean, the Parshendi are definitely revolting.
But they're not. The Parshendi don't revolt. The ancient souls that have taken over their bodies have started a war.
Different, like, shades of revolution. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is that our good guys are the ones being revolted against in most of those examples.
Well, but I think that's why it's fun to explore, is because you get it from different perspectives. Guillermo, thank you for that super chat. Rationalizing a delusional murder is wild, nerdy. He died spewing religious bullcrap.
I think there's a difference between rationalizing and acknowledging why he was doing what he was doing. I think that Miles was wrong. Like, I don't want you to think that I think that Miles was right in what he was doing. I don't. But to deny Miles of his purpose because he's wrong, I think is an incorrect way to look at it.
I just don't think that his actions.
But you're the one who's saying he was wantonly killing people, which he isn't. Right? Like, you're saying that he's doing things.
Killing people without remorse. I will retcon the word wanton.
But it is important to me to acknowledge that he believed in what he was doing.
Yeah, I just don't think that any of his actions reflected in the words that he said to Wax.
I disagree. The only person that he killed was The only human being whose life he took, outside of maybe members of his own gang when he blew up dynamite at the end of the book, as a moment of desperation, was a former head of the police and like rich noble in the city that he wanted to bring the rich nobles down in.
Sure.
The only killing that we see Miles do in the entirety of the book is directly towards his purpose.
Okay, he does fire bullets without regard for like who is nearby. Like he definitely does not have any kind of value on the lives around him, which is why I just don't think that his actions match the words that he says, which is why I think he's a fucking delusional lunatic that thinks he's chosen by God and that's why he has magic powers.
Sure, and there's a lot of violent revolutionaries throughout human history who believe they were chosen by God. Violent revolutionaries typically believe they're chosen by God. Mm-hmm. That is a very common thing. But a lot of the violent revolutions that have happened throughout history have changed the world. And like someone believing that they're chosen by God, and in my opinion, being incorrect about that, they might be right. I don't know. I don't fucking talk to God.
We're not close, you know.
That doesn't take away from the fact that there is a pain that is being caused by somebody. Revolutionaries don't become revolutionaries because nothing is happening.
Here's the thing. Miles lived in a place where where laws weren't enforced and people committed crimes and acted selfishly. And so then Miles went to the city and acted selfishly by stealing from people, capturing women to kidnap them and maybe have them bred and raped, and also like harming people to achieve those goals.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I just do not see the connection of how him working for Mr. Suit and stealing from people is going to help the people in the roughs in any capacity at all. He's not like taking shipments like Robin Hood and like giving aluminum to people in the roughs to have better lives, build better houses. Like he's not doing actively any of those things. He is recruiting thugs, like literal like thugs to cause destruction and steal things and kidnap women. Because a rich guy is kind of maybe funding him to do that.
But if you believe, as he believes, that the system is rigged from the top down, giving people money to have a slightly nicer house won't improve their lives exponentially into the future. Right? Like
it's something. It's better than doing nothing, which he is doing nothing for those people. We do not see him help anybody in this book.
We have a drastic difference of opinion in terms of wealth inequality, I think, in this case. And what solves those problems?
The wealth inequality is definitely there. I just don't see Miles
I just think that
you
saying that like I just think that you saying that like there's no purpose to any of it is.
The book does not present a purpose to it. If Miles had been like, here's my plan, I'm going to take this and this is how we're going to use it to actually help people, then I would understand what you're trying to say. But Miles has no plan. It literally seems like he's there to fuck shit up because he's pissed.
Yeah.
Underscore, thank you for that super chat. Miles would have killed whoever stood up to him regardless of class or social standing at that wedding. If a waiter had stood up and called him a coward, I doubt he would have let it slide. I do feel the same way. He would kill a rich guy or a poor guy if it helped him achieve whatever his misguided goals are.
But they're still his goals. He still has them and there's still a purpose. He still believes. Miles believes that killing that waiter is in the service of changing things so that people in that waiter's position can be in a better position.
Yeah, I just don't see how he's doing that.
And you can think that he's failing, but that's still his goal, and that's still what he believes.
Yeah, and I think he's completely misguided, which is why he's trying to convince himself every time he talks to Wax.
Loder, thank you for that super chat. Miles is doing work for the uncle to get money to build his own organization. He just gets beaten before he can establish that. No, yes, that is true. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
He's literally helping the rich people.
I think the idea that... I think it is dangerous to assume that doing things against cultural norms, particularly violence against cultural norms, is inherently selfish. When like there are structural things that need to get torn down sometimes. And
if he was like infiltrating the government, I would make a bit more sense.
But he was.
What?
The only people that he's robbing are the government.
Okay. And they're
That's who he's harming. He's harming the government. That's who he's going after.
He's taking wealth away from one group of rich people, and then guess who's going to step in? Another group of rich people who are committing insurance fraud.
Well, no, he is planning on killing Mr. Soup before that happens. But Guillermo Barrow says Miles says he should rule because he is divine. Yeah, and he's wrong about that.
Thank you for that super chat.
He is insane. Like, he also has this insane superpower that means he can't die. Like, I'm not saying that Miles is right, you guys.
No, I don't see his actions leading towards the things that he says his goals are.
Let's just move on. We're going in circles now, and I think we've both said our piece on this.
Great, so thank you for that super chat. I think the most interesting part of this, no matter how you feel about it, is that 300 years ago, Miles would be a hero, but society has progressed past the need for psychopaths like him and Kelsier. Society
thinks it has progressed past the need for it. Has it, though, is the question of the books, I think. Right?
I mean, it is definitely... We're not, like, in Ska level of destitution where they're literal slaves. We have progressed, right? I think that Sazed is trying to help humanity get itself there on it, like, by itself, as opposed to, like, snapping his fingers and, like, forcing it, because I think that comes with its own set of consequences. But yeah, it is totally a different world. And I loved one of the things that I loved about the book was seeing the influences of Era 1 represented in Era 2.
I think that in a few years we are going to start seeing more and more of this kind of violence. I think we already did. I think that if you look back 2 months, when we were all talking about how hot Luigi Mangione was.
Some of you were, yeah.
I think that we are closer to this time and this level of revolutionary violence in North America. And other places have obviously been far closer to this and have passed that line a lot in recent years. And I do think we're going to see more of this. And pondering books, I think, is nailing where I'm trying to come from. I see what Nerdy is saying. They say, it's a critique of a common theme across all of the books instead of pointing something being right or not. Yes. It is the consistency with which these books are about privileged characters being in a position where there is some level of destitution around them, but the bad guy does it the wrong way. And so we have to stop the bad guy instead of the privileged characters, the books being about them using their privilege to benefit the people who the bad guy misguidedly is trying to help. Does that make sense? Sure. I understand that Miles's path that he sees to the future he wants is misguided. And I agree that what he does is wrong. But for so many of the Cosmere books to be about characters who have the power to change the society they live in because they are the ruling class, and for the society to have these consistency of problems, and for those books to not do anything with that consistently, is what I'm criticizing, rather than this being a criticism of Alloy of Law. Is that fair to say?
Sure, yeah. I think I just want to touch on the point that I think the certain stories that Brandon Sanderson is trying to tell, that having the main characters be a ruling class because it allows them more, like, freedoms to do what they want and make the scale grander and the stakes larger, is more of a reason than I just want to write about, like, the rich people, like, kind of getting what they want.
I don't agree that people have to be rich for the stakes to be larger, but other than that, I understand what you're saying.
Well, you talk about, like, the marriage between two people. Like, obviously, that is on a larger scale when it's, like, countries as opposed to random people. I think that it is honestly tougher to write fantasy books about characters that don't have some level of power in society.
That is a wild thing to say. That's crazy. What do you mean? The Hunger Games? Like, the Hunger Games don't have higher stakes because Katniss is a ruling class.
I don't say people don't do it or that it's not.
I would argue the majority of fantasy is characters who don't have power in society, though. Like, the majority of fantasy is, like, Aragon, the Lord of the Rings.
He's a rider.
He becomes one,
yeah.
But that's not his position in society at the beginning.
He's still
he's
special
a poor
boy.
farm boy.
Everybody, all the main characters are all special boy, special girl.
Oh, sure. Somebody becomes important later.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
it's because they are the main character.
But to say that like the number of stories where characters start out with societal power is less often. Oh, Chris Pilkington, I know there are main characters in The Lord of the Rings that are kings and princes. The main characters of The Lord of the Rings are Frodo, Sam, and Gollum. Yeah, like, those are the main characters. They don't have societal power.
I just think that fantasy kind of lends itself to being like, it's the special boy, special girl. And sometimes that means that they are royalty. They have power. They are politically influenced. They have a measure of freedom within the world. Like, you know, you can write...
I don't think that... I think that having the main characters be... I guess princesses, yeah, there's a lot of princesses.
Yeah.
But the theme of those books is often that the princesses are fighting against the fact that they don't have power, right? That their womanhood in some way devalues them within their society.
Sure,
like, even in those stories,
you're still privileged in a way of wealth. I'm just, like, I'm not speaking in absolutes here. It's just a trend that I've noticed. And so when Brandon Sanderson chooses to write his main characters usually as being either politically having higher status,
sure.
Whether that means money or magic or whatever it is, like, I'm like, I get it, because that feels very fantasy to me, and I think it is more of it touches more on it's that it is fantasy as opposed to Sanderson's like values.
Guys, Frodo being like a little bit rich in the Shire has nothing to do with the plot of The Lord of the Rings. He has like I do love like Frodo. Roland says Frodo is at the top of society. He literally has a gardener.
He's large.
Having a gardener does not mean that you can make societal change with a stroke of a pen.
No. But yeah, like, you know, if you're talking about Lord of the Rings, like there are lots of characters who do have that kind of influence, right? Yeah, that's crazy. That's some rich kid
It wasn't.
Shit.
No, I'm not. My family wasn't rich.
You had a gardener.
Yeah, there was a guy who came by and like mowed our lawn for like $20.
Okay, well, I don't know if I'd call that a gardener, but sure.
He weeded. Like, my parents weren't spending hundreds of dollars on him.
Yeah, if you pay a kid to come mow your lawn, I would not call that a gardener.
Like, yeah, we didn't have like a gardener on staff.
That's like being like, I had a butler and it's your babysitter, like 12-year-old next door neighbor.
Yeah, it's true. He says, I had a cleaning lady and I grew up in middle class Queens. Having a gardener, look, guys, that's not the point that I am making. Okay.
No, I know. It's just funny.
If Elrond was the main character of Lord of the Rings, I would agree with you more. But like Frodo having a little bit of money is not the same as having societal power.
No, and I think like Frodo is obviously the main character, but a lot of the characters around Frodo are Gandalf, Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli.
Yeah.
Like, you know, other than the hobbits, they didn't pull a random fuck out of the trenches in a war and send him on his way with Frodo. It's the people that have wealth and power and influence, right?
The problem with this show is I find this conversation fascinating, and I could have this conversation with you all day. And I know there are people who are pissed that this is what book club has turned into today, so we have to get back to the book. I love having this conversation with you.
Okay.
And look, chat, I want to acknowledge people who complain about the book club. I'm having a great time, which is why we go down this tangent for so long. I like the pushback. If you are one of the people who's frustrated that we're not just talking about the chapters, I'm sorry. I get it. This isn't what you signed up for.
Here, look, I think they're long gone. Like, back in,
I know, but there are people who still comment, like, there's a section in this where you talk about random shit for 30 minutes. And I'm like, I know, but we're having a good time.
Yeah, but it's fun. Because, like, I love that we don't just, like, say yes to everything.
I know.
It's more interesting to me as a podcast when it's people with differing opinions. And that includes chat. Sometimes chat misbehaves and you go nerdy purposely. I see what you're doing. But I personally think it makes for interesting conversations, and I like that we don't view everything through the exact same lens.
Blue Sun says this is how we managed to hit the 4-hour mark. I don't know what you're talking about. Roland Bai says, we have a great time too. I love the nerdy as a rich boy reveal.
Nerdy's
weirdly,
family didn't get money until later in his life.
Well, but we don't even really have money. You know what I mean? Like,
both of your parents have a significant income, but they have 6 children.
So this is what happened though. I grew up. I watched my family go from when I was real young. My mom ran a daycare out of our house. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how my mom made money. And then my mom got a great job with Keurig Dr. Pepper, and she still works for them.
Yeah.
And they're an incredible company, and I'm very grateful for everything that they brought to my life. And and then my mom married a really wonderful man who is my second stepdad, who is my current stepdad, who is a man who is so deeply cherished in my life, and I'm so grateful for him, and the you know, all of the ways in which I think I am a good man, the things that I learned from my father come from Kim, and I'm incredibly grateful to him for the way that he embraced my mom and embraced our life. And he got a great job after they got married when I was like 12, and so when I was like before I was like 12, we didn't really have money, and then we went from like being like upper lower class to being having money solidly middle class.
Take a vacation. Yeah.
But like when we went on vacation, because I have 5 siblings, my parents couldn't afford flights.
Yeah.
So we drove to Florida. Like, it was just cheaper for us to drive for 4 days to Florida in the van than to fly.
Yeah.
And so we did that because we could. So it's that weird thing of like, we had enough money and we had a big house because there were 8 of us.
It'd be a nightmare if you didn't.
But my parents have 2 mortgages on that house that they're still paying off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's that weird, we're in that weird cresting into upper middle class level. And so I do understand how, like, in some ways I did have money. I just didn't have, like, money.
No, just the gardener comment is hilarious.
And I knew that I didn't have money because my stepsisters, their bio mom, married a man who owned a bunch of car dealerships.
Very wealthy.
And so they had money.
Yeah.
Like, they had new cars when they turned 16. They were going to Thailand. They went on all these vacations. And when I was in middle school and, like, my first couple years of high school, it was a real point of contention in my family.
Yeah. There's a significant difference, especially when it's so obviously in front of your face.
Well, yeah, like, I worked like 35 hours a week at the movie theater to have a laptop.
Yeah.
To have video games. And my sister would, like, get a new laptop for her birthday. And it was, there was a point in our lives where, like, the jealousy between my, like, blood siblings and my step siblings was a huge problem. And that's where high-low comes from.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're
in book club lore.
We were high-low. The book club thing came from our parents trying to figure out how to bridge this gap between us.
Yeah.
And celebrate each other's highs and commiserate each other's lows became about kind of dealing with something that was hard at the time. We were teenagers. We didn't know how to deal with the fact that there were 2 different levels of income in the house. And the 4 of us were on the lower end of that spectrum.
Yeah.
You know, I was driving my stepdad's old 1998 fucking the Grand Prix in 2008. Yeah. I had a 10-year-old car. My sister had a brand new Jeep.
Yeah.
And thank God, like, in our 20s, we managed to become real close.
Yeah.
And we managed to, like, become real. We really, we found, we're good now. But, like, God, when we were young, it was rough in our house. Yeah. Arzu, thank you for that super chat. As a mod whose job it is to interrupt you, if you bored chat, I didn't interrupt you. That's fair. And you haven't lost any viewers during your talk, so don't worry. I don't look at numbers, so.
Thank you. I appreciate that positive reinforcement.
And then underscore says, fun fact, Frodo and Samwise was Tolkien's depiction of the upper class officers and lower class enlisted developing close relationships during conflict World War I. That's so interesting.
Interesting.
Because Frodo isn't an officer at any point. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, Frodo definitely doesn't have those, like, skills, but he's got a good heart.
Anyway, all of that to say, I love having these conversations with you all. And
Yeah.
I find it so fascinating, the pushback against how I think of Miles. And I think that I'm just too empathetic sometimes towards people who are hurting. Anyway.
I feel like because Miles says he's trying to do good for people, like, you want to believe that.
I just have to believe. I have to believe that there's a purpose.
Yeah.
And that he wouldn't just do it for no reason when he's doing it so. When his actions feel so intentional towards something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have to believe that the purpose is real. Otherwise, why would he be so intentional? If he wanted to be random about it, why would the actions be more intentional than his beliefs?
Yeah. Yeah.
And whether he believes he has a divine purpose to it is irrelevant to me. I think that what he believes his divine purpose is in service of is real, even if the divine part of it isn't. Mm-hmm. Chapter 12. Oh, no, we're still in chapter 11.
We're doing great.
Marcy is a pulsar, which means that she can make time around her move slower and time outside of her speed bubble move faster.
Yeah. We were right that she was an Allomancer.
Yeah, fucking called it.
We fucking knew. Neither of us guessed that.
The book thought it was being so slick, and I was like, yeah, no.
No, it didn't.
No.
No, it didn't.
No.
We followed the deliberate breadcrumbs
The breadcrumbs?
The breadcrumbs?
God, we followed them breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Chapter 12.
I'm gonna take that moment to go pee.
I can't believe we're an hour and a half in and we've talked about 2 chapters.
I can.
So great for ADHD, I would kill to be a pulsar or a slider. No, if you were a pulsar and you had ADHD, Seth, you would lose so much of your life. Because you would forget that you're pulsing, and then suddenly, 4 days would have passed. You'd be like, oh, fuck. I forgot I had to take the dog out. Pulsing would be such a dangerous power. Your ability to, miss out on a fucking... Do pulsars age at a slower rate? That is a good question. Seth, I would jump to the stuff I enjoy. Yeah, watch Adam Sandler's Click if you want to know how that goes. God, that movie wrecks me. That is my favorite Adam Sandler movie. And, I love Happy Gilmore. There's so many of his comedies that I love, but Click is my favorite Adam Sandler movie. Because the moment at the end, God, I weep like a baby. I've seen that movie 12 times, and it makes me cry every... Oh, and 50 First Dates is good, too. But Click, man. The end of Click is... I felt like I learned... so much from the end of that movie. Longest Yard is fucking good too. The Longest Yard remake is pretty damn good. It's a good movie. I've never seen Punch Drunk Love, Landa. Let's move on. No. We're not talking about movies. We're talking about fucking Wax and Wayne. And so we go off into where the first robbery happened, and we find these impressions in the ground. And Wayne is being very funny and talking about Marcy and being like, wow, she really uses heightened language. She's always trying to impress Wax.
Goddamn.
And he's like, I think you and Wax would be really good together, Marcy. And really, Marcy's rejection at the end of this book is all Wayne's fault. Wax,
yeah, sure,
gets back on the train, and he goes to the bathroom. I think I can't remember why he walks away. But then he hears some screaming, turns around because there's a gunshot that almost kills him. And he looks back, and Miles is standing there shooting at him. Chapter 13. The next 2 chapters we did react to. If you want to go watch us react to them. Wax is like, oh, fuck.
I didn't realize it was a gunshot. I thought he got a spidey sense tingle.
No, he got shot at. But remember that Miles prefers big guns because he'd rather kill than be accurate.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. So then Wax is like, fuck, we're in a fight on a train. You know what's on trains? People. You know what's not accurate? Miles. And so...
Miles shoots so many times and misses.
Yeah, Miles is the stormtrooper of the Cosmere universe. Wax gets himself up onto the roof of the rail car, and... this is going to sound stupid. I would love to go get on top of a train while it's moving one time in my life.
Just to see what it feels like?
So many things have these top of the train fights.
Yeah.
And I just don't buy it. Ever. Like, I never buy that you could actually do this.
It depends if it's like a cargo train or like the bullet train. You know what I mean? Like...
I mean, Wolverine did it on the bullet train, and that scene... Look, I don't care if you don't like the Wolverine. That movie has a maybe not great third act, but the bullet train fight is cool as fuck.
Yeah.
And if you disagree with me on that, I will fight you.
Yeah, but
I will physically
Wolverine is magic.
Pause on you. That bullet train is one of the coolest fights in... Yeah. Anyway, I
feel like it'd be easier for you than it would be for me because you're heavier. Like, I feel like
But I'm also more air pressure because I'm bigger. Here's the thing. I have no problem with Wax up there because he can pull himself, or he can like push himself from on the train behind him to keep him there.
That's true. And make himself heavier. Like,
a lot happens on the roof of this. They fight up there for a while, and I don't buy that Miles would be able to do all of this shit.
Oh, that Miles would. Interesting. Yeah.
Wax
has all has the booping about
metal
stuff.
pushing powers.
Yeah.
Wax's ability to stay on the train, I don't have a problem with. I just want to get on a train one time because I see all this shit and I don't ever feel like it's possible.
Yeah, it's
and
like
if
a slow train.
I stood on a train one time and I was like, oh, I could do this, it would help me enjoy so much more media. Because every time I'm like, I don't... Although, to be honest, this is probably an early train. This thing's probably not moving that fast.
No.
Yeah.
No. It's chugging along, but it's not going that fast.
But, like, I stood on top of a car one time while it was driving.
Oh.
And I was, like, strapped to it, and it was me and my friends not being smart. Don't do this. It was a nightmare, okay? I'm telling you right now, it was a nightmare being on top of that car. The idea that I would move around, and we weren't going that fast. Mm-hmm. The idea that I would move around and shoot things and not just be gripping on for dear life, which is what I was doing, because I had some straps and I just held on for dear life. The idea of fighting on top of a train seems impossible to me, but maybe it's not. I can't fathom it because I've never stood on top of a train.
Fair.
And so I just want to get on, I just want someone to let me get on top of a train.
The next Nerdy Nightly.
I just want one person to let me get on top of a train so that I can see if I think it's possible.
We've got a few experiments we need to try. We need to get on top of a train and we need to blow up a wall with fireworks.
Wouldn't work.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really fun action sequence that we get here.
It's very fun.
Because obviously Miles, like if Miles falls off, he's fine. He doesn't care. Miles is reckless as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I lost where we...
They fight for a while. Wax ultimately throws a cartridge at Miles, who catches it because he's a fucking idiot. And Miles pushes on the cartridge, shooting Miles off.
Right.
They do be shooting at each other. There is a point where they're on the train and they stop fighting, and Miles is like, Wax! And Wax is like, what? And he's like, we need to eat the rich. And he's like, my mom is a bitch? What? No, we need to eat the rich. You want me to make it with a whisk? No. Oh my god. We need...
Oh my god.
They're on top of a train.
Yeah. It's probably a little bit
gun
windy.
Distance, yelling at each other.
It's a little windy.
But he kind of they have a conversation about their ideology. And anyway, Miles gets shoved off. They get to the next stop, and
Wax is injured.
Connor Crane, my favorite scene in Shazam. Yeah, Shazam acknowledges this. You know what doesn't? One Piece. The distance people can talk to each other in One Piece is one of the most nonsensical. And sometimes they're not even yelling. Sometimes they're just talking. And someone is on a boat on the ocean nearby. And they're like, oh, that's a good point. And I'm like, what do you mean? You're on the ocean. Have you ever been on the ocean? You can't hear shit. Someone can be 10 feet away from you in the water. You cannot hear them. The beach to a pirate ship? Unbelievable.
God damn it.
And
The train gets to the next stop.
Yeah.
And the engineers were like, we were under orders to never stop the train because the Vanishers and all that stuff. And Wax is like, yeah, probably for the best.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, you're gonna have to get that stitched up. And he's like, nope, no time.
And he says, no, get the train moving. Miles is gonna be here in an hour. He's gonna heal and run.
Pretty much, yeah.
Miles is one of the things I think is weird about this book is they're like, Miles would have like an average person's physique.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with that. Miles would be the most athletic person in history. Miles would be a sprinter. Like, he would be faster than Usain Bolt. He would be stronger. Like, his
endurance would be great, but, like, perhaps not something like coordination or balance. Like, those are also important.
Sure. He might not have balance, but his recovery time, if he were to do any level of physical activity, would be instant.
Oh yeah, he would have to put in the work still.
Kind of, though. His musculature would be insane.
If you worked out. Like, if you deliberately, like, ate enough protein to pack on muscle, and then, like, worked out, and then healed, and worked out, and healed, worked out, and healed.
Yeah, but he's been fighting in the waste. He's been fighting in the wastes. The
roughs.
Fucking Wheel of Time. The roughs for years. Like, he would be
guns.
he would be yoked out of his fucking mind.
No, you have to, like, consciously, like, put in a lot of effort to keep that much muscle on.
Yeah. Yeah, he would still have to work out. I just assumed that he would. But maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he would get complacent because he can't die.
Yeah, he's kind of like, I don't really give a fuck.
It's wild to me that he can essentially run forever.
Yeah, because I'm assuming he doesn't get winded.
What?
But he doesn't have to breathe.
He's not going to get shin splints. He's not, or he's not going to get fucking cramps.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he doesn't need food.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
Man,
Emrys brings up a great point. Would he not have a lot of scar tissue? Does gold healing never scar? No.
Doesn't seem like it does.
It doesn't. Yeah. He heals. It's magic healing. It's not real healing, which is kind of bullshit, but it needs to be that or else the book doesn't work. Or else because he would just die.
So wait, so if you had the ability to heal,
yeah,
you'd not be able to like use it right after the gym because you would want you'd want the muscles to like build on themselves.
But that's just healing
instead of healing the way that they were before. Because wouldn't the healing power take the physique that you were before you did the injury and heal to that as opposed to like building on it?
Right. So like you're saying if he goes back, if his muscles were brought back to what they were, then he could work out forever and never change.
Maybe.
But that's okay.
Maybe
that's an
why
interesting
he's
concept.
Lanky. I don't know. Who knows? We should ask Sanderson when we meet him at Dragonsteel.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. Like, because technically when you work out and your muscles grow, it's because they're healing from being ripped. Yeah. Right. But so healing technically should give him increased muscle mass, but
if it reverts to the state that they were before the tearing,
it depends on if the gold maintains him or if it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting thought.
Yeah.
Is this what you're here for, book club? Is this what you like when we talk about the fucking books?
Yeah, you like that?
You like that, book club?
Talking about
we're talking about shit in the novels now. Unlike that hour where we didn't.
It was relevant, okay? You only had like one personal story in there.
I had more than one. So they are like, we have to get the train going again. We are going to Renette's. And Wax is like, that's probably not safe. And Mercy's like, why?
Why? Chapter 14, we meet Renette. They knock on the door and she whips out a fucking shotgun, was it? Yeah, literally a fucking shotgun. Whoa. We have
I would have loved
a gift.
I would have loved if Wayne had been like, I don't have healing right now. And she went like, oh, okay, and put the shotgun away.
No, I thought she said, and then she fucking shoots him.
No, I think she only shoots him because she knows he can heal.
Yeah.
I don't think she's trying to kill him.
No.
I do think it's a very dark friendship thing, but I do think that, like, if
I think, like...
If my friend could heal, I could see that being, like, in your 20s.
Yeah.
Doing a bit.
Especially if you got drunk, and you're like, what if I just shot you? Like...
Yeah, I could see people doing that. I don't think I would.
Yeah.
I'm not a big pain person.
No, it'd be more like, if you're a friend, would you shoot your friend?
No.
I don't know if I could do it either.
No, because I would be like...
What if it doesn't work?
Yeah, I would be so anxious that it would be like the one time they don't have their metal mind on them or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's right here. You'd be like, nah, I can't do it.
Even if they were like telling me to, I'd be like, I don't want to shoot you, man.
No. I think it'd freak me out.
And so they eventually give, Wayne eventually is like, here, we have this aluminum gun. And Wax is like, what are you doing?
It's like, that's so much.
Wayne, I am going to fucking murder you.
Yeah. Anyways, turns out Renette is a gun maker.
Well, yeah, we've known that since like the prologue.
Okay, that was news to me.
Really? It's brought up that she's the one who made the Starions.
I forgot.
And then in chapter 2,
yeah,
it's like, I know Renette's in town, so I could get her to make me new guns.
Does he mention the guns there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sure, I definitely was lost on me. But...
And then when he doesn't have the guns, he's like, I could get guns from Renette because she's in town. And Wayne is like, oh yeah, she's in town now.
I didn't.
There's
think
a
that
whole
mean
conversation.
That she made them. She's like a merchant.
She makes the most accurate guns in the world. That's brought up like 7 times.
I remember it brought up at this point. What? Tuan is black. Fuck you. Fuck you. Alright? Anyways. Renette makes guns. She makes them real good.
I love that you throw that at me so much that it's lost meaning.
You laughed. Well, I don't know what you mean lost meaning.
When I say love, I do mean love. Like, you yelling Tuan is black at me is so funny. And
we all know what it means.
Any other context, it would be obscene. A weird, like, if you were to yell that at me in public, people would be concerned about us.
Yeah. No, I know.
Nail isn't black though, because
Nail
is like.
Nail is just darker skinned.
Yeah, but has, they're called epicanthic folds, right?
I don't know.
Nail is not a real race. Tuan is, because Tuan is just American. With her southern accent. Yeah. I can't wait for Matcham Coffin to meet Nail when she comes in and is like, hey, you and me, we're married. They're African people with epicanthic folds. Really?
Oh. I learned something new today.
That's interesting.
Huh.
What? Where would they be from?
Yeah, I'm actually so fucking curious. I've never seen that, personally, but, again, there are actually not a ton of black people in Canada.
That's fair.
From Africa. Okay, yeah.
You guys know large. Africa is...
That's very large.
One of the largest...
It's very, very large.
...places you could describe.
Uh-huh. They just aren't as common. Okay, sure. Yeah, cool. Damn. I did not know that.
Yeah. I know, like, people who are, like, half black, half Asian who have that look, but...
Yeah. Huh.
Interesting. Cool.
The more you know...
The Tuan is black thing should be on the bingo card. You do bring it up a lot.
Yeah. It's a good one.
I also think I bring it up a lot.
It's a combined effort.
No, but listen, I know you're not talking about mixed race. I'm saying the only time I've seen it, or I've met someone who is black and has epicanthic folds, is if they were mixed race. If they were what?
Blasian.
Oh, Blasian. Yeah.
Anyways, Renette makes guns. She makes
which
real
Clarus
good
learned
guns.
In chapter 14.
Yeah,
she makes them real
good.
And we get the best gun, and it's named after the best girl.
Best girl.
Vindication.
What a name.
Vindication is dope as fuck.
Yeah.
So it is a gun. It's not made of aluminum, unfortunately, because Renette is not rich. But it is an 8-chamber revolver.
Yeah.
And there are 2 chambers that are locked with a switch so that you can lock them out, which basically means that you can put very special haze killer rounds in those.
Yeah.
and you can choose whether or not they'll shoot. That way you can be quick firing and not accidentally shoot your special bullets.
Yes, and also the safety is only accessible to Allomancers.
Not even just Allomancers.
Not Allomancers.
To Lurchers and coin shots.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can't push and pull metal with your brain powers, you can't use this gun.
And so we have different kinds of ammunition that are mentioned. This is the Q James Bond scene that is in every James Bond movie, at least the good ones. And you, there is a shot to kill coin shots, which is a ceramic tip with a metal casing, so that when the coin shot pushes on the bullet, the metal flies back, but the ceramic keeps going forward. I'm not 100% sure how that works, because it would seem to me like the...
So if I'm shooting at you and you push the bullet away this way, you're only pushing the metal off the back of the bullet, and the front of the bullet keeps going forward.
But I feel like bullets have to be fairly... This is the only part of it. I understand that part
structurally.
Of it. But if you were to make a bullet where the ceramic was loose enough that it could come out when you push on the metal.
Loose enough.
Yeah. Right? So if you push on the metal, wouldn't the ceramic be stuck in the, if the ceramic is loose enough that it can just pop out, I feel like the bullet would be...
You might slow down the bullet a little bit because of the force to pull, it would pull back before it detached.
Okay.
Lead is soft. Okay. Yeah, it might slow a littlest bit because of the force. That's probably not even the right word.
I guess if yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it felt like when she was explaining it, it felt to me like the ceramic would just either lose a lot of momentum in trying to get out of the metal around it.
Mm-hmm.
Or it would just shatter. But also if it shattered, then you just have
The ceramic wouldn't shatter, but if the metal on the bullet is not attached by something very strong, if it's like a... Okay, you know when you get minis, right? Yeah. And you break them out of the plastic thing. If it's just little pieces that hold it together that break really easily, you don't even need that much force to detach it.
Okay.
So you would just shoot that at the bullet and that would fly off while the ceramic would maybe lose a bit of momentum going forward, right?
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Would be my assumption.
I was just curious if I was... this is one of those times, sometimes y'all are like, wow, Nerdy doesn't understand things because he brings things up and he's dumb. And yeah, but I bring them up because I know that there's a lot of smart people in the chat who will correct me. And that's why I say dumb shit.
There you go.
When I thought about the ceramic and the bullet, it was weird to me. And so I wanted y'all to, but you guys are making me feel like it would work.
Apparently there are ceramic bullets in real life.
I understand how it works in a shotgun round. It definitely makes, shotgun rounds like this would definitely make sense to me. Using a shotgun against a coin shot, a ceramic shotgun round, you could destroy. The problem then is distance, right? But anyway, we also get the way that it works against lurchers is that the bullet breaks apart, and the ceramic goes around the bullet, so that when the metal is pulled into whatever the shield the lurcher has, the ceramic would hit around that. And she's trying to come up with bullets for other things as well.
Yeah, she's working on something to deal with gold, whatever. I don't know how. I have no idea what that could possibly be. How in the world you would just stop somebody from healing, unless it was a paralysis. I don't know.
I feel like
but Renette is very smart, so
I feel like the best version of that would be to shatter bones.
Okay.
Because I think the biggest danger for someone like Miles would be like if you shatter bones, and because bones, one of the dangerous things about breaking bones is if you have a small piece that dislodges, and it like gets stuck in the muscle, that can prevent your muscle from working, but also it can get sepsis and like problems around the bone, and it can deteriorate in your body.
Yeah.
Even like a very, very, very small piece of bone in your body that's just floating can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
So if you break a bone, it probably stitches back together rather easily. But if you could shatter bones into very small pieces, your muscles quickly heal around that, could be dangerous.
I mean, I don't know if she's taking Miles to be like the goal, but we know he like jumps off of a very like tall height, and his bone literally breaks and heals at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it would be useful against people like Wayne, but not really like a compound gold Ferrochemist Allomancer like Miles.
Oh, guys, I understand that Miles can push things out of his body. I'm just saying that if you're creating a bullet to slow someone like Miles down, the time it takes to expel that shit, you're basically just constantly building time until you can capture them. So doing things that are going to be harder to heal feels more useful because of the time it creates, not because he won't heal perfectly eventually. Does that make sense?
What if you shot a gold...
Oh, white phosphorus? Oh, if you've got chemical weapons, Chris, yeah. I just don't think they have white phosphorus yet. White phosphorus is just like, well, there's a reason why we as a whole planet have said no. That shit is no. That's a big no.
What if you made a bullet that had a kind of poison in it that raised the body temperature of the person so high that the gold melted?
I don't think you can do that.
Well, yeah, it's magic. Obviously.
I mean, they would melt first.
Yeah. Mission accomplished. The whole body
Ours has a great question.
Puddle.
How would that help?
Because they would be a puddle. They would be a puddle of gold and flesh.
Chris Wilkins says, nerdy white phosphorus is really easy to make. They were using it in World War I. This world definitely feels not yet World War I, though. I mean, we had planes in World War I, and that's still...
They don't have planes yet. Yeah.
Oh, my God. I thought we just disconnected.
Yeah, oh, my God.
No, but like, the...
1,064 degrees Celsius. Easy. There's probably a poison that does that to the human body. Yeah.
The question I have about Miles is if you were to drop a guillotine directly down the middle of him and split him in half,
would he become a clone?
Would there be two Mileses? That's the question this book didn't answer that I want to know. Because Miles is like, I'm going to live forever.
Guys, write that down to ask Sanderson.
No. I think it might be in the next 3 books.
Oh, you think he's already cloned himself?
Yes. Is Miles dead? Or does he?
Oh
or is he confident that he's going to live forever because there's not just one of him?
Huh.
Right? Because in the end, he dies and he's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna live." He's confident until the very end.
I'm gonna live forever.
So like,
I'm gonna learn how to fly high.
Oh, Umang says it's the heart side. That's interesting.
That is fascinating. Okay. Yeah.
It depends on which side has more metal mines. But, okay, if you bisect him down the middle, it would have to be about organs.
Yeah, the heart is not...
2 miles is about 3.2 kilometers. Jesus. That's so funny. Michael Kioski, you might have the joke of the day. That's great.
That's well done. Yeah. Fuck.
See, I don't know that it works like Shard Plate, y'all. I think it might be possible that Miles is back in the next book. And that he...
I love this theory.
It's possible. I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
I think that... Here's the truth. I think that Miles being dead is the better choice, only because we've kind of solved him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
there's other shit going on.
There's not, like, another more interesting way to kill Miles.
Yeah.
We've already... We did it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair.
And so, bringing him back doesn't really serve this... and honestly, Mr. Suit's a more interesting villain moving forward.
Yeah. Anyways, Marcy goes to get some fishing nets. Wax comes up with a plan.
Wayne has to go get the train schedules.
Manifesto, whatever that is. Yeah.
Chapter 15. We get... I love that you were like, do you think we're going to get another Miles POV? And then I turned the audiobook on and it was like another Miles POV immediately.
Yeah.
So, Miles is... talking to Mr. Suit.
Yeah.
Mr. Suit is like, you fucked up. You fucked up bad. Why didn't you kill him? And Miles is like, well, because I had to let him know I was there first. I couldn't shoot a man in the back. Even though Miles internally is like...
definitely shot at him.
I tried to shoot him in the back. Which is... I don't know.
It's because Miles...
This fuck.
Miles is a little bitch who's not good at his job and can't admit that to himself.
That's fair. That is fair.
Pretty much.
And we find out that the big bad organization in this series is called the Set.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's like a chess set or something. Like they're each gonna have their own roles.
So Mr. Suit is like the knight?
A rook or some shit. Yeah. I don't know.
But then who's the king?
Exactly.
Because I don't think it's Mr. Suit.
No, but I'm worried that it is like a Marsh 2.0. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Or it just is Marsh.
No, I think Marsh is good.
Still alive.
I think Marsh is good. I want to believe that.
Or could, but that also might not be Marsh, right?
Fair. No, he says his brother. He talks like in a way that would be convoluted for the audience if that was the mislead. Like that would be silly, I think.
Oh. Ashweather Set. They might be named after the Set family from Mistborn 1.
But there was definitely a Set that was mentioned earlier in the book.
Yeah, the family name's probably still around.
Yeah.
And so, so Mr. Suit, is, I don't know what the Set wants, but Miles thinks that it wants a revolution as bad as he does. So they move on from that. Mr. Suit's like, you gotta kill Wax. And Miles is like, I gotcha.
I'm doing it, okay?
We're gonna do a train thing tonight.
I got this.
And he's gonna be there.
He's gonna figure it out.
I know he's gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I'm bad at hiding my secret shit. Sure. Wax is like, I figured it out. This was very funny. He's like, he's gonna figure it out. And then immediately cuts to Wax being like,
I got it. I got it. Guys, don't worry, I got it.
And so there's gonna be a big old aluminum train thing that's going on. You guys keep bringing up High Imperial. I don't know what you mean by High Imperial.
The guy with the tattoos. Right?
No idea. I don't know what High Imperial means.
High Imperial was hilarious.
Oh, when the Wizen of the Was and Wasn't.
Oh.
Yeah. Brilliant.
We reacted to that.
Yeah.
We laughed.
The fact that Les de Bornis made his slang from his childhood.
I forgot about that.
The language of, like, importance is very funny to me.
Yeah. Incredible.
And that Marcy has to, like,
I can
I can kind of read it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great.
Well, it's interesting because it's on the inside of the gun, right? Or it's in like a secret place on the gun, and so it is the implication that the person making the guns, the language, what she deciphers is basically a call for help. The person who is making the guns for Miles is also a captive, is what we learn from this. Yeah. And that he has been putting these secret messages in the guns he's making for Miles because he's hoping that someone will come save him.
Yeah.
Which Wax ultimately does.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. I forgot that they called it High Imperial, but the language joke was great.
Yeah. Well done.
And what's fun about it is that it's a joke that isn't a joke if you're reading the series. You just think that language is, for the first time, you're like, oh, language is weird in this world.
Yeah.
It wasn't such a big moment that I feel like you had to read Mistborn 1 or it felt like a waste of time.
Yeah.
But it was just big enough that it was a great joke for people who have Mistborn.
Absolutely.
I really like, as a sequel series, how this book interacts with the original.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know Vin, the Ascendant Warrior being the Vindicator is just a cool little bit of lore that makes you curious about Mistborn Era 1.
Yeah.
But this series really did a good job, in my opinion, until the epilogue. Where it gets a little bit heavier-handed, but it's also an epilogue, like whatever.
Yeah.
I think that they did a really good job of letting this era be its own thing, but not feeling like there's no, like it's completely unconnected.
For sure.
I think Brandon Sanderson crushed that.
That line was walked beautifully and gracefully.
And so the plan is that they're going to get on the train car that's gonna get stolen.
The super special.
The book doesn't tell you yet, but basically, Wax has figured out that the way in which the robberies are so cool. It really is very fun how they've done this. Miles is using a crane on a barge to steal the entirety of the car, not just the contents.
Yeah.
And so they do that by having an exact replica of the train car.
Yeah, which they can do because they have like schematics and stuff from Mr. Suit.
Yes. Well, no, he must.
Well, at least for this special new one, that is how they get it.
Which means they built it? That doesn't really make sense. Mr. Suit is having it built somewhere else. Miles isn't doing the building. Like, that's got to be happening somewhere.
Yeah. This
away.
Is a large operation, and we're only seeing a small fraction of it.
Yes. Because if you really think about it, building that train car would be next to impossible.
Okay, question. Do you think that the Tikios actually came up with that, like, design? Or do you think that Mr. Suit's people and workshop came up with that design and then fed it to the Tikios and made it think like it was their idea? I don't know.
That's interesting. Probably the second, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it super matters, but it's fun to think about.
I do feel like the one thing I will say is that it did feel like they could have had a little bit of foreshadowing by having someone mention that there was a barge scene in the canal every time. Like, I understand that the barge has shit covered on it, and I understand that at the point where the train car is turning along the canal, the people inside the rail cars can't see what's happening. That isn't necessarily how trains work. Maybe. Like, the secrecy of it kind of doesn't make sense.
They, like, shoot at the people who try to poke their heads out, right?
Sure.
The fake train light masks. Because it's such a powerful light.
No, I'm saying that, okay, so if the train is rounded around the bend.
Misty Nights. So the light
reflects. My God, Luke Cage's girlfriend?
Misty Nights? Is that a name?
Misty Knight.
Oh.
She's a Marvel character.
Sure.
She's in Luke Cage.
I never watched it.
In the comics, she has like a metal arm, and she's a cool detective lady.
Love that.
She's sick as fuck. I love Misty Knight. Chris Hazelton, thank you guys for saying, oh shit, they loaded it on the red car, not the blue.
Thank you, Chris, for that super chat. Yeah.
Okay, but the way it's described is that the train is curved around a bend, so that because if the train was straight, then the people would just see what's happening. But because it's curved around a bend, if they look out the windows, but the people in the two cars on either side of the car would see the car.
The car?
But you would just see out the window.
Well, so
if you lifted a train off of a train.
So why would there be two passenger cars on either side of a cargo car? Wouldn't the passengers be in a specific part of the train?
Yeah.
And then the cargo be in a different part of the train? Like, why would you, like, alternate them?
But wouldn't there be, like, the security? like the there would be people in those cars. They would just be.
Well, I think security gets taken out, right?
Yeah, I also
they haven't killed anyone yet, but that doesn't mean they haven't hurt anybody.
It also relies on the train stopping in a very specific spot.
Yeah, these things don't go that fast.
Sure, but I mean like by a few feet, right?
I don't know.
Like if the train stopped too fast and the car was like misaligned a little bit, they might be fucked.
Yeah, maybe.
Unless the like train is always in the right spot. Unless the distance between the river and the train tracks is always the same and it like follows it, then maybe it's not. Then maybe it wouldn't be a problem. Right, but they have the fake train to stop them, but that doesn't guarantee where the real train stops, right?
Well, yeah, it does. They put it in front of them to stop them.
Yeah, like the way in which this arm would have to be lined up would have to be like perfect in order for this to work, right? Kevin says, "Why do you get hung up on such small minutia that can be explained if you really need it to be?" If
that's what you call hung up, bro, I'm
just having fun. I think it's fun to think about. I'm not hung up on. I said the book's very good.
No, the book doesn't work. This whole book is shit. Because if they don't line up the train exactly within 16 inches of the crane, I can't use my mind to get past it. So that's what hung up looks like.
I'm just having fun. I don't know. It's just we're just talking about it. I don't know. I'm not that hung up on it. I just find it interesting. It just feels very specific and difficult. Like I understand it does work. I'm not even saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying like the amount of precision that would go into this is crazy to me. Like it would be so hard to it's just wild. It's like a wild concept of it's cool that it works.
Yeah. I mean, the barge also has to have some kind of flexibility with it, right? Like the canal runs alongside the train. Like it's not like it's like there was probably some points where it would be too far, but like generally a piece of track is going to be a certain length, right? So it's not going to deviate too far away from the canal on a certain track piece. Because they're not like this big. They're like this big in the grand scale of like what the train is.
Yeah, it seems like because nobody died, this in my mind, okay, the size of the barge and the arms that lift a train would have to be so big that someone should have there should have been more people who saw what happened. Like the size of the crane to lift a train car in my mind is so big that hiding that seems wild. Yeah, I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying that, like, the size, they're like, nobody saw anything. And I'm like, how?
That's because of the mist. The giant light of the fake train would reflect off the mist in a way that made seeing stuff very difficult.
Only if you're facing... Okay. Hear me out, though. Mm-hmm. Light's going this way. Train's going this way.
Okay.
If you turn away from the light is actually shining on what you are doing.
Doesn't it reflect off the mist? Like the mist kind of make it go wonky?
But the mists aren't 25 feet in the air.
When you're driving through fog, it like reflects back at you.
But the mist is like, the mist puddles around their feet.
No, it
the mist
swirls
isn't
everywhere.
50 feet in the air.
Yeah, no, what?
The size of the crane would have to be massive.
No, Vin literally flies through the mist. The mists go from the ground to the sky.
Oh, I thought the mists weren't as big in Era 2.
No, they're not like this. They're like this.
I thought the mist was like lessened in Era 2.
No, but there's definitely something super suspicious about it.
Okay, no. But now this is interesting.
Uh-huh.
This is why we had this whole conversation for this thought. We got to the purpose of this. How do they know that there are going to be mists during the robberies?
That's why I think the mists are really fucking suspicious.
That is the real question. How do they know when the mists are going to be there?
Yeah. Yeah. Because at first I thought that the mists were part of Harmony, because that is when Wax is able to communicate with Sazed.
Yeah.
So then, yeah. Can the Vanishers or Mr. Suit or the set predict when the mists are going to happen? Or are they orchestrating when the mists spring up?
Because...
Mistologists.
Yeah. But because Wax comments on how the mists haven't been around as much, and he misses them.
Yeah.
It implies to me that
there are not mists every night.
But there aren't mists every night in this book.
No.
Because Wax comments on the fact that there aren't mists every night.
There are.
So are they actually mists, or is Miles and his crew also putting fake mist out there?
Oh, you think they're out there with, like, fog machines?
Yeah, is this like a fog machine situation?
No, because I don't think Wax would have been able to communicate with Sazed through fake mists.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, no, but that one might have been real, but Wax is never at any of the train robberies.
Yeah, but
the only train robbery he's at, he's in the car, he doesn't see the mist.
But they did it the same night. But here's the thing: the timeline of the special cargo train going out the same night that the mists also come out, the same night that also the Vanishers come out, is suspicious. The mists in this book are suspicious.
Yeah.
I have questions.
Judah Kaiser says, do we know the mists appeared at every robbery? They would have to, or else people would have seen the cranes.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure that they did.
Guys, the crane would have to be so large to lift a train car.
I mean, that I don't know.
Because it's not even a matter of weight, right? Like, I understand the counterbalance side of it, but the actual crane arm itself would have to be 50 feet?
Maybe the river is down a slope.
What?
Like the train is like up here and there's like kind of like a hill, like a slope into the river. And so the barge crane is actually hidden kind of by the hill and all you see is the arm. Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Kioski. Thank you for that, Super Chat.
Every robbery was a missed opportunity.
How dare you?
Gritzer, Miles will go down in history not because he was a failed revolutionary, but because he invented fucking fog machines.
He's like, I'm gonna live forever because of this invention.
But James Ross, if someone shines a super bright light at you, you look the other way. You turn away from it and go, wait, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, but they also
Oh my god, my eyes! Hey, wait a second!
But they went and robbed people and kidnapped them, so I don't think they were looking outside of the windows. Right? Because they had groups of people in the passenger cars taking the hostages and robbing people, so they're not able to look outside.
Oh no, for sure, and that's what happens. Like I'm not saying that's not what happens.
Yeah.
I'm just the size of I just think the size of the crane would have to be so large.
That's what I thought.
That there's not more that there isn't more evidence before Wax figures it out is surprising to me. Just because if you really like to lift a train car is. Like this, just it would have to be so big.
Maybe train cars are smaller in this world. I don't know. Maybe they're like 20 feet.
But it isn't even about the size of the car.
Mm-hmm.
It is about having something that reaches over, picks something up. Just the size of that piece of machinery would have to be so large. And there would just be this giant barge with a giant tarp over it at every one of these robberies. It's just it. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, it does not matter. It's just interesting.
The scale of it is fun.
It's cool how it goes down. And so, yeah, we're going to go rob a car.
Love that. Chapter 16. So, they get to the train station where they're loading on this super secret safe cargo.
Wait. Oh, this is an interesting point. Also, a barge big enough to hold that train car. But it has to hold 2 of the train cars and the crane. The barge has to hold
for a minute.
a train car, and the crane that can lift a train car.
Yeah, only for
That's
a minute.
a huge barge. Like, that's fucking massive. Anyway.
Yeah.
Lloyd Bull, thank you for that super chat. In a real world, a train car is between 286,000 and 315,000 pounds.
Well, maybe in this
That's
world...
loaded, though, right? Not unloaded. And the counterweight light blindfold, yeah.
That's
How
true.
big is this barge?
How big is this river?
But, like, how... Like, even with the light on the tracks, you'd think someone would be like, yeah, every time one of these happened, there was a giant fucking barge next to the train. It was there was one of the biggest barges I've ever seen. It would be like if there was a fucking paddle boat. Like
if someone had a gun to my head, I would not be trying to look out the window. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be large. It would be very large.
It would just be so big for 5 robberies to go down. And no one noticed that there's a giant fucking barge at them is actually kind of silly to me. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. We need to move on. It's a large barge.
Yeah, it's big. It's fine.
Model trains are very small. The Vanishers keep stealing these model trains we left out in the wilderness.
Full of aluminum.
All right, you start talking about 16. I'm going to go pee.
Okay.
We need to move on. We're almost at 3 hours.
Yes, we do need to move on. Oh. So they start to enact the plan. So they go to the super fun new train car thingy. Excuse me. And Wayne is disguised as a little old lady. He's able to like worm his way up to the front. Okay. He starts asking suspicious questions. And the guard is like, wait a minute. So they try and chase Wayne down. Wayne throws up a speed bubble, changes disguises. He's like, oh, that woman ran into... What happened here? Go chase them. He pretends to be a member of House Tikil and is like, how many people are guarding the thing? Get more! We need more guards, you fool. And this... Oh my god. This poor, like, guard is not getting paid enough to deal with all this, honestly. I can almost guarantee. So this is hilarious. So Wayne disguises, so Wayne and Wax are disguised as guards, right? And they come up and they're like, yeah, we're here to help. Because clearly you need it. And Marcy starts shooting so that it sounds like they are under attack, and Wax gets shot. Not actually. It's fake blood.
Excuse me, sir. Can you give me all the young man? You're such a charming young man. Can you tell me all of the special security things on this train?
Incredible. Wayne does a fabulous job. And so Wax gets wounded, and Wayne drags him back to safety. Mm-hmm. Turns out safety is that car. It's open. He shoves Wax in there and closes it to keep him safe. Fun fact about this train car is it won't open for 12 hours.
Yes.
So now they cannot put all of the guards inside.
It seems like a weird security thing in a world where people can magically move shit. If it's made out of metal.
All right,
hear me out.
Another tangent.
Hear me out.
Nerdy walked away and said, we really need to start talking about the actual book
This
here.
is talking about the book. This is talking about the train car.
And is like, so...
This is talking about the train car.
All right, go for it. We'll see how long this takes.
Oh, it could be ceramic mechanisms. Yeah, it would kind of have to be, though, right? Because otherwise, a lurcher and a coin shot could, like, fucking move shit around to... It's an aluminum mechanism. That's interesting.
Yeah, because it doesn't have to be a large mechanism. So if you know, it's an expensive car to build, but as long as the parts of it that lock or unlock it are not a metal that can be affected by coin shots and lurchers, and you're fine.
Here's the problem with it to me. It either needs to be made out of metal, right? The entirety of the car, or you can just break into it. Because if it's made out of ceramic or wood,
okay,
it's not that secure.
Yeah, the whole thing is metal.
So it has to all be aluminum then.
Nope.
Why not?
Why? It's a big metal box. No human being is going to be heavy enough to actually affect the car.
That's true, yeah.
Maybe Wax for a singular moment if he makes himself as heavy as fucking possible, but even then, unlikely. And what are you going to do for a split second?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, yeah, they aren't Magneto, they can't rip it apart. Yeah, they can push and they can pull, but if the thing is heavier than you are, then you're using it as an anchor to move yourself around.
Mm-hmm.
So.
They could shake it a bit. Would it, by being a fully metal, although I guess, like, we have freight cars that have to be fully metal, right? Like, and have contents inside, so it makes sense. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, aren't those, like, shipping containers that people make houses out of made of metal?
Or maybe aluminum, or maybe the mechanism inside doesn't have to be aluminum, because a coin shot and a lurcher couldn't affect it through the steel. Like, if you were to burn steel, right, and you could see the blue line,
okay,
the entire thing is just a blue line at you. How would you find the mechanism to push on it? Because you would have this giant blue beam coming at you from the entirety of the train. How would you see the metal on the other side of the metal?
Like inside and in between metal?
Yeah.
Like, interesting.
If the metal's on the other side of a 6-inch plate of steel, how could you push on it without pushing on the car?
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So you couldn't unlock the mechanism because there would be too much metal in the way.
The easiest way to hide a metal thing and not let people get at it is actually to surround it with metal.
Yeah, because then you have to push the whole thing.
Yeah. Christian Rapper, aluminum in Mistborn Era 1 was fed to Vin.
Yeah.
To burn away all of her metals.
No, I think they're talking about how in the aluminum wasn't resistant to...
Aluminum didn't exist.
No, it did, because it was fed to Vin.
I mean, outside of the Lord Ruler. The Lord Ruler had aluminum and nobody else had. They didn't even know what...
I know, it's just very funny that you were like, aluminum was fed to Vin, and then 2 seconds later went, aluminum didn't exist.
To the general public.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because he was hiding it from people, right?
Yeah, he didn't want people to have that information.
So Wayne manages to convince them that they've all done a wonderful thing by locking Wax inside the car, and also that they've repelled the Vanishers. And Wayne is like, you can get my friend out when you're on the other side, Goncho. And then the train takes off.
Yeah.
In chapter 17, Wax undoes his fat suit. And his fat suit is all the shit that he needs to set up to fight.
Yeah. He's got dynamite. Mm-hmm. He's got nets. He's got ropes. He's got, I don't know, maybe a porta potty. I don't know.
A chamber pot?
I don't know how long he's going to be in there.
Yeah.
You got to come prepared.
But thankfully, you know what? I was about to say thankfully that it's air permeable, but honestly, a train car of that size, even if it was completely sealed, you would probably have enough oxygen
to make a trip.
Because I think that a coffin has like 6 hours of oxygen.
I was gonna say maybe up to 10, but I don't know.
Would you put on a fat suit full of dynamite, nerdy? No. Fuck no. Guys, I don't even like going to the gym. You think I'm gonna snowboarding may be a little bit dangerous for me at my age. You think I'm gonna wear dynamite?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the amount of air in a space like that would be a lot.
Yeah, it's big enough, I'm sure.
And so yeah, he begins to set up, and he's playing with Vindication. Marcy is freaking out a little bit, you know. She's just created a ruckus for the first time. And we cut to the future. Her and Wayne are on a hill by where this is going to go down. And they are staring at this giant bright light that is staring the train down. And the train slows down for it. And the light, instead of being a fake train this whole time, collapses open, and there's a rotary gun inside, and so the poor Tikil guards get fucking massacred.
Yeah, it's rough.
And so Marcy really wants to help, but Wayne is like, hey, if they turn that at us, we're dead.
Yeah.
So chill.
Yeah.
Just chill.
Not much to be done here.
And they watch as a giant crane lifts this all-metal train up onto a barge, replaces it, and it takes off. We cut to Miles inside his bunker.
Miles is like waiting for Wax, and he's like, I know that he's here. I don't know how. Like, I have no idea how Wax does the things that he does, but he figured it out somehow. So we're gonna be prepared.
You want to know what else? There.
Somehow, my spidey senses.
You want to know what else I don't know?
What?
How did Wayne and Marcy find this?
They followed the train.
No, they followed the barge.
Yeah.
Right, but how they find the room in... Like, I understand they find the building. But, like, how did they follow the barge? What were they on? They must have had horses? They didn't walk.
I don't know.
It just seems to me... Okay. So, once the barge gets into the city, it's just a barge in the city. And so Marcy and Wayne had to follow the barge throughout the town.
Yep.
Somehow.
Okay.
It might maybe the barge is slower than a train would be.
I mean, it doesn't have a motor on it, does it?
Does Wayne mention riding horses? I might have missed that.
Yeah, barges are not fast. Like, I'm not...
Yeah, it seems to me like once the barge got to the city, easy to follow it on the canal,
yeah.
Right? But once you're in the city, following the barge to a building and then figuring out which room in that building the fight was going to go down in so that you could be there 2 seconds after the fight starts I was like, oh.
You go to the room where you hear the large explosion from and the gunshots.
Yeah, but they had to already be in the building when the fight started. Wax shoots like 6 times, and then the ceiling collapses on him. It's not like he's in the fight for like 4 minutes. They've gone through maybe 3 rounds of combat. It's maybe 18 seconds.
I think
before the ceiling falls on him, and Wayne is like, "Hey, Goncho, I'm here."
I think that the explosion takes a minute. Like,
the explosion takes a minute?
Yeah, I mean, something explodes, and like, people get flung around, ears are ringing, it takes people time to come to their senses.
That's a good point. That's a good point, babe.
I think that there's a large explosion and that they are very close to being nearby and they're like, okay, this door. Like,
let's blow up the ground right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably the dynamite that gives it away. All
right. I buy that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the fighting begins.
So what Wax has done has been like, fuck you, throws dynamite out of the...
No. So the dynamite is on the back of the door. And so when Miles pulls the door off the hinges, the door, like, the mechanism that they use to pull the door off lands. And then Wax checks to make sure that there's nobody, like, the women aren't there. Yeah. And then he dips back in, pulls a little string.
Yeah.
Blows everybody up.
Yeah, there's big explosion.
I just love that he's like, I could have blown up faster, but I had to check. And so I just
make sure that the
I can't wait for the live action where Wax like peeks his head out, and is like, okay, we're good.
We're good.
Boom. Because there's no windows on this thing.
Yeah.
So he literally had to be like, I don't know how he checked. Now that I think about it, I don't really know how he checked. Because he didn't pop his head out. Whatever, it doesn't matter. He blows it up. They start fighting. This fight, we're not going to describe it beat by beat.
No, it's really cool, and if you haven't read it, just read it.
Some highlights: the coin shots, push and pull, and when they're going 1v1 with Wax, when he leaves, they're climbing up the building, and Wax is like using their specific abilities against them because he knows this building because he climbed it as a moment.
Oh yeah, he like rips the building apart.
Yeah, a little bit.
Great moment. He tries to catch I was about to say Marsh, fucking Miles.
Yeah.
Tries to catch Miles with nets.
Yeah.
And Miles literally takes out his own fucking dynamite and blows himself up.
Miles takes a little stick of dynamite out of his cigar case, which he always has on him, which was a lovely little...
Yeah, and he's like, fuck you. So he blows up himself and Wax, but obviously it doesn't really affect him at all. Great moment. That was hilarious.
Yeah. Oh my god, there's so many good beats. Wayne fighting the Koloss blooded guy and then popping out and be like...
Trying to get his hat.
We fought to a standstill. He's still got my hat.
Yeah. This is not going well for me.
Unfortunately, Marcy is above in the hole that Wayne made and is shooting people from above.
Yeah.
Marcy's a fucking menace in this until she ends up in the fight.
Yep.
God, yeah, it's hard to talk about just long fight sequences. Because we're just describing things that were cool.
It's better if you just read it.
Yeah. The Wax does get shot a couple of times. He manages to kill the Lurcher by using the Lurcher to push himself back towards when they're climbing the building, he pushes the Lurcher back because the Lurcher has like a metal plate on his chest.
Yeah.
That he draws the bullets into. And so Wax pushes off of that and pushes himself back onto the building behind him so that he goes to safety and the Lurcher goes out into the distance. And so the Lurcher is just gone. Oops.
Literally, like, falls to his death.
Yeah. Because all he can do at that point is pull himself towards things, but there's nothing above him, so he just dies.
Marcy kills Lurcher? Wait, then who falls and dies?
Wait, really? I have that backwards. I thought Marcy killed the coin shot. Strike that, reverse it. That's a reference to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I thought the same thing, though. I thought that they literally fell and died.
Oh, no, he launches the coin shot. Right. That's what it is.
Okay.
We have it backwards.
Okay.
Cool. Anyway, the way he does it is sick, because he shoves him away from the building.
Marcy commits her first murder. Actually, no. She shot the guy.
No, she shot the guy
hall.
earlier. Yeah.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
She
definitely her like third.
She's just having a time.
Because remember, she's like, I hate the sounds of the screams. Targets don't scream.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways, Wax has been blowed up.
And
shot.
Miles steps out. And at this point, Wax has no more guns. He lost Vindication. The thing that never came back that I thought was going to come back was the switch in Vindication. The safety. Never came back in this book, so I think it will in the next one.
Yeah.
And so he's lying on his back. He's fled from Miles here. And he realizes, hey, the mists are here. That's crazy.
Anyways, I'm going to say a little prayer.
God? Are you there, God? It's me, Waxamillion.
Waxamillion. Isn't
that his name?
Waxillium.
The funniest part of that is that Waxillium actually fits the song better.
Yeah.
It's me, Waxillium.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's me, Waxillium.
Waxamillion.
Oh, man.
Incredible. I love that for us. Anyways, he starts chatting with God.
Is what I described. How many times I jacked off as a child.
Waxamillion.
I waxed a million. I discovered waxing off, and then I waxed a million.
Love that for you.
So he chats with Sazed, and Sazed is like, it is time, I think, for you to have this. And he looks over, and there is a box. Everything you want in a box to your left, Wax. And there are his Asterians. Just a blonde, sexy vampire boy.
Yeah.
And
just
his...
waiting to be used.
Like, modern mist cloak?
Yeah, it's the Duster style mist cloak.
Yeah.
Which is very fun.
It's sort of like when Assassin's Creed games have the assassin cloak, but in different eras.
Yeah.
Like Connor's in Assassin's Creed 3 is very like Native American and cool. And I want mist cloaks of every era now. Like I desperately want the like World War II mist cloak.
Yeah, right. I was like, this box felt like a Hunger Games drop from a sponsor.
And so this is where like I think another way I want to compliment Brandon Sanderson is I love that this gets here, and it feels like it is divine because Sazed claims that it is, but also it gets there because Tion brought it here.
Yeah, like it's reasonable that it could be there.
And so it keeps in line with the harmony element of Sazed's new identity.
Yeah.
And so he pulls out his Starians, he reloads. This is definitely like the point in the boss fight where the video game makers have like made the first part of the fight drain all of your resources.
Yeah.
And then you think like there's another phase.
Like,
I've got nothing left.
Yeah.
And then you like fall through into a room where there's like hearts and a new weapon.
Yeah. You get a moment to loot.
And we go into the final phase, which is some big old fighty. And it ultimately ends up with Miles holding Marcy. Oh, wait. That's not Miles. That's Tarson. Tarson is holding Marcy. And we get the standoff. The standoff. Which parallels the standoff from the beginning of the...
That's at the end of the.
Oh no! Wait, no. First, no.
There is a little bit of back and forth where Miles is like, "Go kill Steris."
He said, "Right." I forgot about this.
Yeah.
So we needed the reload because Wax has to go full John Wick and fight his way through multiple hallways and stairwells to get to Steris.
Oh, and this is when the ceramic bullet.
Yeah.
Kills a coin shot. Gets him right in the eyeball. Yeah. Wayne is still popping up speed bubbles, and there's a moment of acknowledgement of like Wayne's power is super useful at first, but the more that he uses it, the more predictable the like timing of it can get, and the more danger that he is in.
Steris Wells, that's funny. Yeah, no, there's so many cool beats here.
He does go and save Steris.
The bad guys realize that fighting Wax in the hallways is a bad idea, so they start trying to shoot him through the floor.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant, like really smart.
Yeah.
He finds Steris and the gunmaker, Nox.
Yeah.
And he shoves them into the river.
Here, take this gun and get out of here.
Goes swimming. So he saves the day. He gets back down to the fight, and you realize Wayne is in the middle of like his a decent pace from the gun people. So he's able to keep popping up speed bullets and moving to dodge bullets, but he can't get closer because if he got closer, the time in between his speed bubbles would be long enough that they would be able to time them out and kill him as he gets closer. Right? Oh, yeah, we should mention Connor Crane is right.
Steris gets horny.
Much like every woman when you save them from kidnapping.
Yeah.
They are...
If you want the way to a woman's heart, it's to save her from being like a breeding machine. Just do that. Works every time.
So if you save a woman from being a breeding machine, you can then breed her? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they did it in Mad Max, you know what I mean? Step 1. Save a woman from a breeding program.
That's how you and I got married.
Yeah. Thank God for that.
Norwegian Cruise Lines.
I don't have birthing hips.
The breeding program.
Jesus Christ. Anyways.
What? I'm never gonna work for him again.
No.
Not after last time.
Could have been worse. That's all I'm saying.
So, so he goes back down, and the fighting gets pretty intense, and Wayne, Tarson, it gets to a standstill where the last people alive are Tarson and Miles with Marcy there. And Marcy is got a gun to her head. Tarson is the one holding it. This is where I thought the gun that Tarson was going to be holding was going to be Vindication.
Oh,
and so Tarson wasn't going to be able to fire it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, instead we get a scene that is a parallel to the prologue where Leshy's death. Leshy?
Lessie.
Lessie?
You mix it with Leshwi, I think.
Yeah. Yep. And the, Wax can't do anything. And so, Miles is like, I'm going to count to 3. And he does.
1, 2,
And that Wayne drops the speed bubble. And they're standing there looking at the situation. And we get the...
He's like, all right, what do I do? I gotta shoot him in the head, but I can't actually get a shot at his head. So do I shoot him in the kneecaps? No, that's not gonna work.
And, we skipped, yeah. There is a point where...
We did bring it up that he ripped the building apart, but yeah.
Wax and Steris are flying in the air, and Wax makes himself as heavy as possible, and he destroys the building beneath him by pushing down on all the nails while he uses up all of his weight.
It just, like, shreds. Yeah. So any Vanisher that was left in there is definitely crushed and killed.
That's how we get to... God, it's hard to talk about the big combat stuff sometimes on the show, because it's like...
It's definitely the most confusing aspect of it.
What's weird about it is I'm like, just saying it in order isn't like content.
Yeah.
I can just describe the book to you.
Kind of just a recap.
It's like but the recap is to get to this point. He shreds that to kill everybody so that all that's left is Tarson, Miles, Marcy, Wayne, Wax.
Which is wrong, because the plan was supposed to be that Miles would be holding a gun to Marcy's head.
Yeah.
But...
So the speed bubble's up, and Wax is looking at the situation, and he knows that he's got this because his hand isn't shaking, and he's good, and he is looking out, and he's like, Wayne, I can do this. I'm not going to kill another woman. Drop the bubble when I say so. And he does the thing you're not supposed to do, which is he shoots out of the bubble. And so it gets deflected off in a random direction. And then he's like, Wayne, drop the bubble. And...
So that he can then pull the bullet into the direction that it needs to go to shoot Tarson in the head.
And so we get the wanted moment. We get the curved bullets. Do I 100% understand what happened? I'm not going to lie. Not 100%.
Bullet goes... and then pings off and then goes wee.
I didn't know what I'm not gonna I don't really understand how the second bullet hit the first bullet.
He's a really good shot. He does the Robin Hood thing where he shoots his own arrow and splits it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's an incredible shot.
Okay. But he would have to know... Okay, just follow me here for a second. He would have to be able to know exactly how fast he needed to speed up the second bullet to catch the first bullet. Mm-hmm. So that it hit in the exact place in bullet time to bounce off the first bullet so that it could...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's the most rule of cool. Look, I am talking about it not because I don't like it. I do like it. I like Wanted, the movie. I want to be clear.
We just like to really go into depth.
But I also have to acknowledge he shot a bullet, add another bullet, and used his magic powers to speed up the second bullet so that it managed to catch up to and connect with the first bullet.
Mm-hmm. He shoots a lot of bullets, okay?
Instead of just shooting him one time.
The first bullet slowed once it left the bubble, giving him time to figure it out. The math.
But once the bubble dropped, he is still shooting at a bullet moving at bullet speed.
Correct.
Like, he can... You can say he judged it in speed time as much as you want. He still had to shoot a bullet at a bullet.
Yeah, but so if the bullet leaves the bubble, right, it is now going slower, and you can actually see, like, watch the trajectory of it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But as soon as the speed bubble dropped, he still had to shoot a bullet and, like...
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's
insane.
Fucking ridiculous, and I love it.
Again, I love it.
Yeah.
I am in love with it, and I think it is incredibly cool, and I want to see it in live action. And also, it makes no sense.
Wax is almost as cool as that guy that got second at the Olympics.
I have no problem with it at all, and it makes no sense. Those things can both be true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just can both be true. And in this case, they are. It's insane. And I love it.
Yeah. He crushed it. Anyways, he shoots Tarson in the head, which means that Marcy is not immediately in danger. And Miles gets all pissy about it and starts beating up Wax.
Yeah. Gets brutal.
Yeah. And this is the point where you love a predictable villain because as long as you get a monologuing, you can use it against them, which is what they do. Wax offers himself up as bait, basically, to distract Miles for long enough for Marcy to slow down time for them so that that outside the bubble, Wayne and the entire armed forces of the city can show up and take out Miles. Well done.
And the constabulary arrives, and Miles is like, no! And then the police come in.
It made no sense.
And beat the shit out of him with batons. They don't even bother with guns, and they tie him up. And they take him, like, immediately to the courtroom. Like, immediately. Because he gets sentenced in a week. Which is crazy.
I mean, nowadays, yeah, but...
No, there is a secret organization funneling money into this guy.
Who wants Miles to get caught and convicted.
I know.
They probably paid to speed along the trial.
I just am like, in my mind, I'm like, you guys don't... A week isn't enough time to get all the information out of him. There's
what information? They can't. He is impervious to pain. He's not going to tell them fuck all. He says, I'm guilty. Try and kill me, bitch. And they're like, what else are we going to do?
Did he confess to the rape and murder of the 4 women then?
No. He didn't know that was a contingency plan set up by his, like...
So my question is, when they're interrogating him about the women, what did he say?
He probably says he gave them to someone else to, like...
But at that point, don't you think you would investigate that further?
He's not going to tell you anything.
I just feel like a week is too fast. If it had been 1 month, I wouldn't have prickled at it. But, like...
I just assume that back then, like, this shit took almost no time at all.
7 days to me is so quick.
That doesn't feel that fast to me. How many other high-profile trials are going on right now? I literally bet Mr. Suit fucking paid money to expedite this one. Like, and also, like, like, House Tequil or whatever doesn't have much money, but, like, people want to know what happened with this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair. I just, it feels like Miles, it feels like Miles would roll over on Suit just out of sheer contempt.
Roll over how? They're like, yeah, Mr. Suit, I don't know, what else are you supposed to give?
The set? Like
Set?
The set?
Yeah, but
Mr. Suit's organization.
Yeah, but Miles hates the society. If he's trying to take down the society, why would he...
Oh, right, because he does think that Mr. Suit is also revolutionary. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There was something about it being 1 week that just felt, he was already, like, being executed. I was that's
said,
crazy.
Are we sure it's 7 days in this world?
That's true.
Could be 12. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe if it turns out that it's the Suit gang pushing it faster...
Mm-hmm.
I also just have a big problem with Marcy being one of the lawyers.
Well, and Picky Armando says that head cop was acting super sus. Agreed.
But he's not even the head cop for the trial.
No, but he's about to fucking retire, and so the fact that he's, like, happy to just get all this fucking done and over with tells me
I see what you're saying.
He's totally been paid.
Or Condra.
Oh, maybe. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, if the Condra still exists in that capacity.
I mean, the Colas fuck now, so I don't know.
Chapter
20.
Questions about that.
We go talk to the head cop, but that's not what the chapter's really about. Who gives a fuck about that? Wax. We do care because his name's Breton, who played Charlie in the production of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I just said that's crazy.
Crazy.
Love you, Breton. I hope you're doing well. Haven't seen you since the show, and That's weird. We spent every day together for 3 months. And now, haven't spoken to you in 10
Theater's
days.
so weird like that.
So weird.
Yeah.
So Wax gets his, like, citywide deputized forbearance.
Yeah, yeah.
Which means that he's basically a cop.
Without having to work
be.
within the constraints of actually making a paycheck, yeah.
They're installing a light on top of a building downtown that they're going to shine into the sky when they need him.
Pretty much, yeah.
And Wax and Marcy have a conversation where he's like, hey, you're great. You're also 20. And I'm a 40-year-old man, and we are not dating.
You are still in school. And you should keep doing all that, and I think that you're awesome, but we're not doing this.
I loved this so much. I need more media to do this.
Yeah. And
I need more media to have adults go, I know that you're attracted to me because of my superpowers. Mm-hmm. I am an adult man, and you are in college.
Yeah.
Go date someone your own age.
Please.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's great.
Loved it.
Because then Steris shows up, who is also not age appropriate.
Yeah, she's like 30-something.
No, she's like 26.
Oh, I thought she was like in her 30s.
No. Unfortunately, Steris is also not the most age appropriate either for Wax, but I guess it's the times. I don't know.
Pinky Armando says, yeah, I just didn't like that he was like, I should be attracted to her. It is okay. Look. It is okay to acknowledge someone is attractive.
Yeah. He also is like, this
and
is
then make the right choice.
Yeah. He's like, this is the kind of girl that I am into. I think that's totally valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steris is only like 4 years older than Marcy, though.
Oh, I thought she was older than that.
No. Judah, thank you for that super chat. When Wax is working as a constable, is he wax on? Yes.
And then when he's with Steris, he's wax off.
Yeah.
Steris is in her 30s, I thought.
Is she?
I thought she had
was
spent like years getting, because I thought she's been engaged like 4 times, right?
Yeah, but you can get engaged when you're fucking 18 in this world.
No, because it takes 8 months to get engaged.
Well, for Steris.
And it's Steris we're talking about.
Yeah, I thought that like Marcy was like 22 and Steris was like 27. Oh. What?
I was gonna Google how old Steris is.
We can let chat do that because
She should be in her late 20s. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to. That could bring up spoilers. You never
That's
know.
fair. She's 5 years older, so she's like 27.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like 44.
Still, look, I'm not gonna lie. 27 is better than 22.
Oh, there is that fundamental brain development that happens in between those two ages.
Yeah.
Look, I think it's fine.
But also Steris and him, they're literally getting married for like political reasons. So it is less weird to me because Steris is like, hey, I actually need you to go through with this. Also, Steris, fucking love you, girl. You are not in this book much, but you are me, and I appreciate the shit out of you.
I didn't get a contract.
No, because we got married for different reasons. But I did tell you, I was like, we should just get married because it'll be easier on our tax situation.
Yeah.
That was something that I said when I proposed to you.
Yeah.
Or leading up to the proposal.
Yeah.
Steris being like, I'm not good at people. And I know that, and I'm sorry. And I was like, hey, I say that to people all the time.
Yeah.
That's wild. I'm not saying she's autistic, but God, do I relate to her hard.
I'm saying she is.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm really bad with people. And Wax is like, yeah. But you know what? We can work through this. I see something in you. You seem like a cool dude.
And so Wax is like, I think I'm going to keep on doing law shit. And she's like, yeah.
I get that.
Men need hobbies. And there are worse hobbies.
But actually, he could be gambling. He could be, like, fucking around.
I know.
He could be hosting orgies. And she's like, you know what? This I can actually deal with.
It's just so funny to me that she's like, yeah, well, you're going to have a hobby. So you might as well fight crime.
Yeah, like Batman.
Yeah. And so she's like, will you keep the arrangement? And he's like, yeah, I guess we'll get engaged in like 7 months. And she's like, oh, no, you saved my life. We can get engaged much faster now. People will accept it because you saved me?
Yeah, if you saved me, it's romantic. If you didn't save me, it's desperate. That's how it is interpreted by the humans that live on this planet.
Yeah. So because you saved my life, it is now romantic for us to get engaged faster.
Yeah. That makes sense, actually.
The sad thing is I'm like, yeah, that is how people think.
It is. Ceres doesn't understand people, but she understands people. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
She doesn't have social skills, but she understands, like, how people view things.
Yes. It's really fun. I enjoy her as a character a lot.
Hunyan says, didn't Brandon say that he wrote Ceres have better autistic representation? I mean, when the bar is Warbreaker. Or Elantris. It's hard to have worse.
Well.
I rowed a boat to that country once, so I can tell you exactly how many steps it is to get there.
Yeah. It's not the best.
I'm not offended by it at all. I don't want people to think that it offended me. It is
like,
so wild that I was like, what? Like, the end of Elantris is so insane to me that I genuinely can't believe it. When I remember the, like, plot of that book.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm like, oh yeah, remember when the bad guy showed up a month earlier just to fuck with their own guy who's never done anything but be loyal to them? Elantris is such a wild novel.
Yeah, it really is.
They introduce a magic system in the last, like, 40 pages and then immediately destroy it.
Yeah.
That book is insane. It's like...
Yeah. Anyways,
so weird.
We get to the epilogue. And the epilogue got some fun little tidbits in there for you.
Crazy.
So we'll start with do you want to start with the wax stuff or the Marcy stuff?
Let's start with the wax stuff because the Marcy stuff's the best.
Okay, so Wax gets on a train and meets his uncle there. The uncle that was
not
supposedly dead. Yep, not
also,
dead.
his sister, not dead.
Not dead.
What Allomancy power do you think she's going to have?
The sister?
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, well.
Right?
I think that for them to fake this accident, she could do speed bubbles. If she was in on it.
I don't think she's in on it. I think she's basically been kidnapped.
Maybe.
I think Wax is going to have to save her from her uncle.
It's hard to know because we have no idea what the relationship is.
Yeah.
Or Ferrochemy. Yeah, she might just be really heavy.
One of the reasons why I didn't see this coming at all is also why this reveal was a little bit less fun than it could have been. And it's because I don't care at all about his uncle. And I don't know enough about him for this to matter that much.
Yeah.
It was interesting. But what held it back from being like a great reveal was that it was like, oh, yeah, he's alive. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It wasn't like no, that guy?
Yeah, we don't know.
Because I know nothing about...
We haven't really met him. We don't know much about him. Which...
Edwarn.
It kind of leaves a fun, like, almost like blank slate.
Yeah.
Which, so on one side, it's cool. But yeah, there was definitely not like an emotional reaction to it.
Well, and Wax doesn't really care about him.
Yeah, he's like, fuck that guy. He's why I left to the roughs anyways.
Yeah. Imagine if Breeze could see his descendants now. Yes, Judah. Thank you for that super chat.
Yeah.
What was it that he called Breeze? It was the
like advisor.
The counselor of God.
Something like that.
Of course, Breeze's nickname post fucking founding is like counselor of gods or whatever it was.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, the counselor of gods, of course. Breeze is fucking...
What a fucking... Anyways, yeah, Edwin is, pretty open about certain plans. Obviously, this was all done for the, to collect on the insurance, for House Tikil to go under.
I don't think that's what it is.
Well, no, like, that's
a part of it because they need money for their bigger plans.
Sure,
but,
yeah. But also, there's got to be a strategic, like, why did we target House Tikil?
Because they're from the first era.
Yeah, that's a name that we recognize.
The readers will recognize.
Yeah. But Wax is like, what about those kidnapped women? And Edward is like...
Well, and the interesting thing about it being House Tikil in this book is that doesn't really mean anything to us. It's sort of like the Edward reveal. Did we meet anyone from House Tikil in this book?
No.
So it is kind of like there is a weird distancing going on for some reason that I think will become apparent later.
Yeah.
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 And, so Edward, throws down a broadsheet, about how the set they've essentially bought they've basically shorted House Tikil. If you've seen the movie The Big Short. And they're going to profit massively off of the downfall of House Tikil. Mm-hmm. And so they set up Miles to destroy House Tikil's relationships, their financial life, and then get caught. And Wax seems to lose control a little bit and gets super petty. And he pulls a gun and he's gonna shoot his uncle. His uncle's like, "There's 24 Allomancers on this fucking train. You really want to pull that shit?" And Wax is like,
Just
and so
try it.
he sweeps all of the food off of the table that his uncle's been like chewing.
So, fuck you.
And the Allomancers come in, drag Wax off, and throw him off the back of the train.
Yeah. Turns out he stole a little pocketbook.
And so he goes to the train station and meets Wayne. And Wayne's like, "Do you get anything?" He's like, "Yeah."
The classic table sweep.
And Wayne's like,
he's like, "I taught you well,
taught
brother."
You that.
Yeah.
And it's a great little ending. And it sets up that we've got to figure out what the plan is.
What the fuck is going on?
Because we have the appointment book, and we'll find out next time.
Yeah.
But let's get over to Marcy, because this is where the actually crazy thing happens.
Marcy goes to the anyway, she's there for the trial and then decides to go to the execution of Miles. Miles gets shot a whole ass bunch of times before he actually dies.
But he keeps healing.
Yeah,
because he has gold in his stomach that has been that he pre-ferrochemically.
I don't know. I think he might have just like had some stored between his leg bones or some shit.
No, he has to burn it, right? After it's been ferrochemically filled to get the 10x health. So I think he just had a little bit in his stomach that he was burning. Maybe. Although, how would he get it? No, that doesn't make sense. Because how would he get it in his stomach at this point? It's been a week.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, the metal mines... Like...
He has some gold on him somehow. I don't understand the compounding.
Wayne doesn't eat the gold either, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyways.
Well, Wayne isn't compounding, though.
No, but Miles has some kind of gold stored in him somewhere, somehow.
Yeah.
That they weren't able to find.
But he basically says, "I'm a descendant of a god. I'm not going to die." I always assumed he had a gold butt plug. Judah, thank you for that super chat. They do say they searched him for gold.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it was a butt plug. I think they would have done an orifice search.
Yeah, most likely.
But maybe not. Maybe, like, butts are very holy in this world, and they don't do that.
They're like, we actually don't touch booty holes.
The prison pocket gold mine. And so Marcy sees a man in a black cloak watching as this man dies.
Yeah, she follows him.
She chases him out. She's like, "Oh my god, I need to follow him." And she turns and look, guess who it is?
Marsh. Just Death himself.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Marsh shows up and is like, "Hey, I have something for you to get to Wax."
Marsh can compound gold. Of course he can live forever. He's not immortal. He can compound because he's a full Mistborn.
Yeah, through spikes. Yeah.
Yeah. He has all the powers.
Yeah. So, anyways, Marsh is still around, and he does not like what the set is doing. And
which is why it can't just be insurance fraud. I don't think that Marsh cares about who has money.
No, it's definitely not insurance. Yeah. It's not about that. It is literally about the kidnapping people. And I think that Marsh has a vested interest in it because I think that it is something to do with hemalurgy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Code 76 says compound atium was for age, but atium's... Oh, maybe Marsh has all the atium that's left. If there's any. Because it does say that atium is a lost metal and there isn't any anymore.
Yeah, it is like mentioned very briefly that it no longer exists.
Yeah.
It's like a myth.
But yeah, good old Marsh is still alive, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, crazy.
Yeah, very cool.
Because it's not like he can, like, change... It's not like he can, like, shapeshift. Like, he literally is going around... He's going around with fucking spikes in his eyes.
Yeah, he does talk about that him and Harmony disagree on things, which is part of Harmony's ideology. that is how that works.
Yeah.
And hey, I get it. As soon as you surround somebody with ultimate power, with people who just say yes to their ideas all the time, it's a bad thing. So I love that Sazed gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's the Harmony thing. He has to. It's not that he gets it. It's that the whole thing is like, because he is Harmony, he has to play both sides.
Yeah.
And the more he plays one side over the other, I think the more out of balance he will be. I think one of the ways this series is going to get interesting is that Sazed is going to get unstable as a god because he plays one side over the other, and he won't be his own ideal. And so I think that there's going to be a point where Sazed has to push the bad guys a little bit more because he has to be Harmony.
Yeah,
and
or
like
he doesn't
that's
have the
going to be
capacity.
I think that's going to be the like some of the narrative pull and push of this book is going to be Sazed having to play both sides.
Yeah. Linus, thank you for that super chat. Wonder what Marsh did to earn the moniker of Death. I mean, he's just scary looking. I think someone somewhere saw his face and was like, I saw Death.
Well, no, he was Death before.
What do you mean he was Death? Not in a religious sense. He has been, his image is in the certain religions what they see as death. Like how it manifests physically. Judah, thank you for that super chat. Would you rather be a Twinborn or a Radiant? And if a Twinborn, which combo would you choose? I would choose Soothing and Ferrochemical Pewter. I need a list of all the things because I can't remember.
I think I can pull that up here.
I guess.
Ferrochemical Pewter is physical strength.
Yeah.
I get it. Does Stormlight exist in my world? Because if Stormlight exists in the world, I would want to be a Radiant.
Yeah.
Mostly because I find the idea of like eating metal all the time really weird. Just like on a weird level. I also don't like piercings on me. I love them on other people. But the idea of like the piercings and there's elements of the ferrochemy stuff and the Allomancy stuff that as an autistic person give me like sensory issues. Which is dumb, but
That's not dumb.
The idea of like eating little flakes of metal all the time makes my mouth uncomfortable, and I wouldn't want to do it.
Okay, that's fair.
I feel like I would get used to it, but it makes me uncomfortable.
What if you just put it in whiskey?
Yeah, that's true. I could. That's how I would do it. I'd be drunk all the time. God.
Emily says Radiant needs to deal with a Spren though, which might be super annoying if you're unlucky.
Yeah, but I might get pattern. Like I would do it for pattern.
Fair. That is fair. I don't know. Because there's so many different Radiants, I'm like, look, here's the thing. I would pick Radiant because then I have a friend for life who can't leave me.
That's me.
Yeah.
I'm your friend. No, I would want to fly. Being able to fly sounds cool. And I already got a Windrunner.
So you're like, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But then you would have an honor friend being like, hey, listen.
I keep to my oaths.
Fair.
Yeah. Absolutely. My friend would be like, he does what he says he's gonna do. I don't know, Stormfather.
Consistent.
Yeah.
Always and forever consistent. Y'all, what a fun book club today.
Goldschlager is the surge of busting a move. That's funny.
Jesus.
Oh, man. I just mixed two comments at the same time.
Oh, okay. I was like...
Talon Ramel said Goldschlager is real live allomantic metal. And Shim's Lady says, I want to access the surge of busting a move.
God.
And I read those two comments as Goldschlager is the surge of busting a move. Because I am dyslexic.
I was like, I don't get this comment.
It's because I'm reading two at the same time. That's wild. Yeah, this was fun. This book was good. I'm actually excited for full book recap because I'm excited for your questions and what they bring out of the conversation for next week.
Yeah. We'll do some more deep dive stuff. We'll do a casting for you guys, which will be fun.
Thank you all for being here today through this. Yeah. I appreciate being able to have some fun and distract from the world for a few hours this week. It's a fun little book, and I'm excited to spend some more time on Friday talking about it. Don't forget, on Sunday, we will be back with Kushil's Dart, book club number 2 of 3. We're going all the way up to chapter 79, I think.
Yeah, I think it's like that.
That book is very good, and I'm excited to talk about it with you on Sunday.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Clarus, do you have anything to add before we get into high-low?
No. No, this was a good time.
Miles, rest in peace.
No, rest in pieces, bitch.
Sure. And you've discovered the difference between me and my wife. Clarus.
Uh-huh.
High-low. You start with your high, I do my low, you do your low, I do my high, because we compliment Sanders as bitch, because my family, we talked about that in the middle of book club. What is your high from the second half of Alloy of Law?
My high was the choreography of the fight scene.
Yeah. Very cool stuff.
It just felt like it was so fluid and detailed. And
I felt like I had a good understanding of what was going on.
It was a wild ride, and I loved it. Like, my high is that roller coaster that we went on. Yeah. I had a blast. Like, truly. I got so much from this book. It brought me a lot of joy, and that fight scene was especially memorable. Mm-hmm. What about you? What's your low?
I don't know. I didn't really have one. It moved so fast. Like, even when my brain was like, how is this barge a secret that, like, any of the little things that my brain maybe quibbled at with this book, the book moved so fast that it wasn't a problem.
Sure.
And none of the things that I maybe like quirked an eyebrow at were impacted the plot enough. So I just kind of, it was one of those things where I went on the ride, and like I enjoyed the ride. I had a great time with the book, and I think it's well written, and you know, I don't think it's like on the S tier shelf for me of Cosmere books, but I think it's definitely on that like second tier with like Words of Radiance and yeah, it's on like that tier.
Yeah. No,
it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a blast.
Yeah. Arzu says their low is Wayne hitting on Renette excessively. Did that bug you? Did you prickle at that at all?
It's one of those things where I was like, I feel like I don't have enough information to know
about their past relationship.
Well, like sometimes people have relationships where that's how they enjoy each other's company, and Renette, in a way, feels like the kind of person that the only people she has in her life are the people that she kind of does bicker and fight with and tease and yeah. And so I don't know. I really don't feel like I have enough information on that to comment on it. And so maybe my low, I guess, is that like there maybe wasn't enough information to draw conclusions about certain specific things.
I mean, Renette's only in 2 chapters.
Yeah,
so like,
it moves fast, which is a high for me, but also a bit of a low for me. But there are more books, so I'm sure we will get more perspective on that. What's your high?
That's also tough. There's a lot of good stuff in this book.
Yeah, there is. It's tough to pick one, but you also can do one
I love
next week.
I love so with Steris at the end, and like, you know, him owning up to the contract and agreeing to it and making that decision and why he makes that decision.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot there that I think it's a really interesting moment. And I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Very character driven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just like Steris a lot, and I love how vulnerable and honest she is with him in that moment, and I love that they both make room for the other to back out of it, but express interest in, you know, it was a very mature, like, adult conversation.
Yeah.
And this book has a lot of jokey kind of conversations and a lot of like teenagery kind of flirtations, and I like that it ended on sort of, before the epilogue, it ended on this very like mature interaction between the two of them, where they're both just, I like adults being real honest with each other. I love those conversations, and so for them to have that was cool to me, and I'm excited to see. I'm hoping that the next book, Steris isn't just kidnapped and away the whole time. I'm excited to see her be present for their relationship and how that deepens, because I think that I think that him and Marcy could have had a like Burns hot romance, but Marcy is too much like his ex, and I think that him and Steris can build something real over time together, and I actually kind of want to see them explore that in an honest way.
Yeah.
And I'm curious for the future because of them.
Yeah. No, I love that.
All right. That's book club. Thank you so much for joining us. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave me comments down below. We'll be opening the questions tab in our Discord, so you can start asking questions for next week's book club.
Yes, we need to.
That'll open up at some point today. If you're not in the Discord, link is in the doobly-doo down below. Come join us over there. We have great discussions, and we have a great little community. We will ban you if you're a shit. Not a lot of you are shits in the Discord, but if you're like a pain in the ass. Thank you so much for watching today. This has been wonderful. Enjoyed the book a lot. Thank you for indulging in our debate in the middle there that took probably longer than it should have. And we'll be back next week with full book recap. We'll be back on Sunday with Kushiel's Dart Part 2. And if you go down to the link below, there is a link where you can donate to the situation in LA, the LA Community Fund, where you can help out the people who are being so affected by these fires. Including a lot of people who are deep friends and loves of our lives. Yeah. And those people, we are here for you if you need us. If there's any of you in LA who need anything, please reach out. Let us know. We'll do what we can. Yeah. And we will see you all in 2 days' time for Kushiel's Dart.
Yeah, literally in 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Pete says you should stream the Bills game this weekend. We are going to be live during the Bills game.
So we will be streaming it.
I might pull up the Bills game and watch it during book club on Sunday. That'll be fun.
Wait, they have an 11 a.m. game?
No, it's at 1. So for the third hour of Kushiel's Dart, we might also have the football game on.
Okay.
What? We'll have it there, and then we'll have,
Honestly, no. The last thing that I want to do while talking about this book is being like, whoa! And me being like, I don't understand anything that's going on.
So then...
you can keep streaming when we're done talking about the book.
So then she inserted the anal beads into his mouth, and oh my god, what a touchdown by Josh Allen.
Oh my god. That tight end, though.
You know who would be a good Marcy? Would be Josh Allen's fiance, Haley Steinfeld.
Oh,
She'd be a good Marcy.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Love that.
We'll be casting this book on Friday, so see you there. As always, do something nerdy tonight. Bye. Smut Corner. Where would you add sex into this? You know where? Not really a sex scene, but a sexual scene. I think that in the train, Wax is like, okay, big fight coming up. I'm just gonna rub one out to get the not even because he's horny.
It's I just gotta pass the time and tension. Distract. Yeah. The problem is what if they pull the cart off while you're in the middle of it, and you're like, do I try and finish this as fast as I can, or am I just gonna be kind of half hard for a minute?
I mean, he was in there for hours. I don't think he had time to jack off.
Probably. I'm just saying
to wax off. Sorry.
What if you you're in there for a few hours and you're like, do I have enough time now? Have I waited too long? What if I start now? Have I left it too late?
That's fair.
That's fair. Tough. That's why it's useful to have a speed bubble to throw that up so you can jerk off and then be okay about it.
The most expensive jerk off of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
I spent $200 so I could jerk off in public.
Oh my god.
Says it pops up in his ear.
It's hey, there's other stuff going on. I just want to throw that out there.
I have
priorities.
I have researched for many years, I think, and I believe that you should use lubrication. Perhaps if you were to spit into your hand, you would come faster, I think.
Say that invents lube.
Say that invents lube.
Yeah, actually. Here's the thing. For Marcy, if you put up a bubble so that you could jerk off, you're just, rubbing it out for days on end, maybe. Hours, at least. Maybe days.
Well, you're just making it easier for someone to walk in on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they walk in, they won't see it.
No, they will. They'll see you very slowly masturbating on the floor.
Oh, I thought there was a shine. No, you're right.
They would walk in, and they would just see you going...
Not even that fast. You'd be, frozen in time. Yeah, that seems like a problem. Honestly, I feel in this book, Renee's foreplay is shooting Wayne. So she shoots him and then they fuck.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. If that's the relationship they have. I just don't know if that's the relationship they have. I think we'll find out in the next book.
It's the relationship that Wayne wants to have, but the problem is Renee eats pussy. So Wayne is
you think she's gay?
Yeah, it's kind of alluded to. Wax is like, I don't think she likes men.
Oh, I thought it was more like she likes guns. You know? I got like...
She's married to her work.
Yeah, I got Renette. Renette isn't a sexual person.
I literally thought that Renette was gay.
Yeah, maybe.
It's
I never assume gay in a Brandon Sanderson book. Which maybe I should. Drahe exists, but like...
Yeah, Drahe is there.
Yeah. She's freedom sexual.
She's gun sexual.
She builds one of those, like, machines that just has, like, a piston that fucks you. Because it's like a gun.
Fuck machine?
Yeah, but, like, there's a bunch of different kinds of fuck machine. But, I mean, specifically the ones that are kind of like a gun. That's funny.
Sure. I have not researched fuck machines, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm on the outs.
There's not a lot of opportunity to have sex in this book. Oh, you know what? I think Steris masturbates for the first time.
After she gets rescued?
Yeah, because she's like...
Oh my god.
Oh, I understand what horny is now.
Yeah, she's like never really been attracted to someone before, but she gets her life saved and is like, oh my god, this
she's
could
horny
work.
For the first time. She's
this
like,
could work.
Marcy, what is masturbation? And Marcy's like, oh, I took a class on that in college.
For law?
No, it's just a joke because every time anything happens in this book, Marcy's like, oh yeah, I took a class on that. I'm like, girl, what? How many classes are you taking?
I don't know. You had to take fucking women's studies in your musical theater degree.
I did not need to.
Well, you had to take other
I had to
bullshit.
take gen eds, and I took a women's lit class.
Sure.
I was the only man. It was great.
I love that for you. Anyways, good book club.
All right, y'all. Thanks so much for this. We will see you all on Sunday. I love that this is the first smut corner where almost all of it was self-pleasure.
Yeah, I don't really see a lot of these characters fucking.
Steris and Wax are gonna
push and
fuck
pull.
in the future.
Push and pull. Those two fucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something going on. That's why he's so upset.
They're gay lovers.
Yeah.
That makes me sad. Now I wish they'd lived. I would read Brandon Sanderson's like gay romantasy about push and pull.
Someone's got to have written a fanfic, right?
Yeah, just a lurcher and a coin shot. Doing crime, making love. Maybe I should write that. Get sued by Brandon Sanderson.
Just a coin shot. What?
Nothing. It was just funny. All right, y'all. Thank you for this book club. We will see you all in 2 days.
Bye.
Be kind to one another.
For more smut.
Do something nerdy tonight.